They told us to give a disclaimer. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the podcasters, any guests, and do not reflect any of the management, owners, sponsorships, or employees of thereof. Pretty much, if you're soft, don't listen to this podcast. One thing I pride myself on is just being the same and trying to look out for my folks along the way.
Like, even with all these, big things happening, like, you still mad humble, and you still, like, you have enough clout now where you could easily be like, I'm not fucking with this, I'm not fucking with that.
Oh yeah, motherfuckers, it's on. Unrestricted Podcast listeners, thank you so much for clicking play. Because of you, those numbers are going up, up, and up. Now, today is a very special episode because, it's WrestleMania week.
Oh, come on. Let's go.
It's WrestleMania week, so I had to bring some friends to the podcast. We're going to talk wrestling. So if wrestling is not your jam, go to the next episode or go back and watch a different one. Both of these guys have been on the podcast before. Maybe go rewatch their episodes. I got my man, Jos Beefy, with the Beans and Rice Show. That's it? You're not going to say what up? Yeah.
Well, you introduced me. You didn't even let me introduce myself. I don't want to introduce myself now.
Standing at 5'10".
That's the attitude adjustment, okay?
And I got my good friend. You might know him as Scott or Atheist or Rhyme Time. He's in the building.
Yep. Weighing is 250 pounds.
You 250?
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to 250.
Are you going up or down?
But Scott's 250 kilos.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It's fat.
Regardless, right?
It's
Once you get
problem.
there, in pounds or kilos, it's the same.
It's concerning to doctors.
I don't want to. I hate it when friends do the Celsius thing.
Oh yeah.
Instead
what are they
like,
trying to prove?
Oh yeah, come on, dude. You know what are you?
Yeah,
what are you? A drink?
Now we were supposed to have another guest here, but unfortunately he died. I'm just playing. Oh my god,
Chris Benoit.
Oh no. No, but our good friend, our good friend Will Wonder, he was supposed to be in attendance today, but he didn't make it. He's sick. He's not feeling well.
Yeah.
But he did send in a message. So I'm going to read this. I'm not the greatest reader. I went to public school. All right. Fellas, I am truly bummed I can't be there today. This sickness that they are saying is an extreme allergy, cough, bullshit, has really been messing me up for the past week and a half. You almost lost your belt. I seen that. It's so bad I can't even get through a short conversation without coughing like your grandpa used to. Mine too. Rest in peace, Abuelito. Hence why I'm writing this instead of calling in. In any event, I am sad I can't be there. Dre is one of my number one dogs and has allowed me to plan this episode. That's right, Will Wonder is a producer of this episode.
Oh, he's going to take credit for it. White people.
And we collaborated on guests. Beefy, you already know I have love for you, husband. Atheist, I'm a huge fan. The Rhyme Time Joint Nonstop is still on my gym playlist, and my son is addicted to your Spit and Fire commercial a few years back, too.
That's awesome.
You remember that?
Yeah, kid, don't set Utah on fire. You've seen it on Hulu.
I was really looking forward to chopping up wrestling with you because I've seen how much of a fan you are. Outside of that, wrestling is one of my top 5 most loved things ever. And it is at a point right now where it is above and beyond from a popularity perspective than it has been in 20 plus years. Can't wait for Mania. Though I'm going to be honest, I'm good on seeing CM Punk ever again. He is climbing my ladder for most overrated wrestlers ever. The only dope thing he has is cult of personality. Though I don't know he will ever reach Goldberg level of overrated.
I mean, he won't. There's no way.
You agree with that then?
I mean, I agree that, like, if he had stayed retired, his legacy would have been so much better than now. The whole AEW drama and all that stuff, and now back comes to WWE again. She swore he never would, gets injured right away. It's like, it's not great. Yeah. So it's been a bad couple chapters.
Should have stayed away.
Oh,
and Dre, if you want to read this part, or if you don't want to read this part, I understand. I don't want to offend your political connections. I will read this because I agree with it. Angel Severa, aka the guy from How Did It Get So Good podcast. Please stop being so goddamn salty on your podcast. How did it get so bad? I mean, good. That was his quote, not mine. You don't have to talk about me not wanting to come to your pod every episode. So just relax, please. You are sounding like a jealous ex. And to be frank, it's weird, bro. I helped you a little to get your show ready. Yeah. He helped you with editing for free. So keep it up and see what happens. Let's just be friends, please. You jealous, goofy bitch.
Wow.
Damn, bro.
Wow.
All right, in closing. All right, Dre. Much love, fellas. And of course, as always, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
If he comes in mid-show holding a Money in the briefcase, like, my God, what an opportunity!
Could you imagine?
That'd be incredible. I don't ever cough. Like,
I ain't never sick.
Now we're starting. That wasn't going to be on the podcast, right?
Yeah, of course it's gonna be.
Oh, okay. I was
Hey, put your water over
I
here.
should seem more interested.
I don't want it to be taking focus off of you. There you go.
I didn't bring my prime for this, you know?
All right, fellas. So in preparation for this episode, obviously we have structure. Will Wonder produced it, and the first topic that we have is intros. Right? We did that. Atheist, Mike Masters,
Yeah.
House of Lewis.
yeah, making music under the name Rhyme Time, doing rap battles under the name Atheist. It's a long story and a boring one. But yeah, you can find my stuff pretty much everywhere.
That's right. Beefy.
Yeah, Beefy, 666, La Bestia, Beans and Rice. And I just like making everything, basically. Whatever you think you can make. I just like making stuff as a hobby, I guess.
And he is cooking right now. He is working. So, love, brother. I love to see my friends work. So, and you guys are both coming off of 48 in the Lake, right?
Yeah, we were actually co-workers right there, huh?
Yeah, we did pay-per-view commentary.
Pay-per-view.
It was fun. It was the best seat in the house for sure. I always have to be running around for stuff, and this time they needed a pay-per-view co-host, and it was great. I'm going to fight to do that every time.
Well, we have Lefty there, and we have Nick Jones, so, you know, we'll see
I
what
thought
happens.
you were about to hit a boo in my
I don't know if I even have. Oh, okay. That'll work. No jokes. All right, man. So what I want to do is let's start with your Mount Rushmores. Beefy, let's start with you.
Oh, wow. Mount Rushmore. Because that wasn't on my quiz, but that's a good one. Let's see.
Because you don't ever read your text messages.
No, look, I prepared everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that wasn't on my quiz.
You didn't see the top of the docket.
Mount Rushmore, they have how many presidents they got one? They got 4?
Can you name them?
Okay, I'm going to put Ric Flair.
Can't.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
He clipping.
The Nature Boy. So I'm going to go Ric Flair. I'm going to go Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go, oh, man. Stone Cold. You would have to, and The Undertaker.
Ooh,
It's a great list.
Solid.
Great list. How about yours?
Okay, we're gonna go with. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off you. Gotta go Taker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about what he did with Mania in general, the allure that he had, created a whole match for this guy. You know what I mean? So Taker, gotta put non-racist Hulk Hogan.
That is the caveat, right? Yeah. That's the tough part. Yeah.
Nigga. Every time, nigga.
As in to back away from the mic.
Atheist is like, it's okay. He said it. Yeah, I'll put Hogan in there. And then gotta go the most electrifying man in sports entertainment television, The Rock, Dwayne, all forms of him too. He's a great heel. Love him. And then cap it off with Austin 316.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to narrow it down to 4.
Yeah.
You know, you look at so many great matches and so many great athletes. I would even put the 9th wonder of the world on my Rushmore, you know, for what she did.
Yeah.
She's great, you know, but we only got 4 spots.
Yeah.
Scott?
So I did two. I did like the top 4 American because I started thinking about.
They always have to do it by race, huh?
I always do, yeah. Because I started like looking at like New Japan, and so I just broke it down to like top 4 Americans in history. One was Bruno Sammartino because he was the champ in the WWF days for I don't know years and years and years straight. And then I had Hogan, Flair, and I put Chris Jericho.
You know, I was Jericho would have been in mine, but that was especially when he went to. But that's why I went with Ric Flair on mine, because once I noticed like what Jericho did, and he's like 40 something, then he goes start AEW.
Yep. That's what took Stone Cold off my list. His run was so short. He did so much, and he was the guy, him and The Rock, for Attitude Era. But Attitude Era was like 4 years. And it was the seminal 4 years for me watching as a fan. So, you know, I had the T-shirts, the posters, everything. But when I started looking, I was like, Flair did it for 80 years. Sammartino did it forever. And then Jericho because of the AEW jump.
Like the list, right? He went on that run with WWE where he was like the main guy, and then he goes to New Japan.
Yep.
Takes over just with all the independent, and then goes to AEW, and he's like the main guy.
And WCW before that, and Canada before that, like
his debut was something crazy too, like top of Y2K,
Yeah,
right? Like
that was the best.
What's this? What are we about to get? And then it hits, and you're like, what? Break the walls down!
So good.
It was incredible, and he was like the first like flamboyant. You know, not flamboyant, metrosexual, like.
And he was also like I had to put him on too because I love cruiserweights. So I love the high flying, the luchadors, those guys more than anything else. So he was in that WCW, ECW time was like so big for high flyers. So I had to put him on there. But I did my 4 favorites. And it looks different. My 4 favorites are Mick Foley. That's my number 1. I love Mick Foley.
Oh my gosh.
Dudley Boys steal a spot together.
Shout out to Spike.
Shout out to Big Dick Dudley. Shout out to Mama Dudley, all of them. There's a guy from New Japan called Toru Yano, who is the funniest wrestler I think I've ever seen. I really like, he has a gimmick where he'll just run under the ring, come out with duct tape, and just duct tape his opponents to things, or duct tape things to his opponents so they can't get back in the ring. And he cheats all the time, and so he's great. And then Rey Mysterio is my number 4.
Oh wow,
yeah. And Rey Mysterio, what was hard is I put Jericho because he's gone higher heights over and over. The consistency level of Rey Mysterio is insane, but since he's been back at WWE, like not a lot has changed. You know, it's been the last since like 1999, it's been a lot of the same.
Yeah.
That's why I put Rick on mine, because Jericho made me realize how like old Ric Flair was, and then with like Evolution, like how old he was, like putting guys over at that age. You know, I'm like, damn, like he did that for that. So that's why like I would have normally never had Ric Flair, but then that like Jericho made me realize like, wow, he was doing it like older than Jericho. And he was still like a pay-per-view guy, like a top of the card, like attraction. Shawn Michaels WrestleMania.
Man, it's Shawn too. Like,
you know,
you got Bret Hart. Like,
I was gonna say none of us said Bret Hart,
and that's insane.
Yeah,
you know, when you go to the years, the longevity portion of it,
right?
It really makes you think about how much of an impact the Attitude Era was. You know, especially guys like Stone Cold, guys like The Rock, where their impact, we haven't seen that celebrity since.
You know, what's difficult to admit is that all of our list should have Vince McMahon. Like, if you want to talk impact for wrestling,
I mean,
it's Vince, and that's a tough.
We can't say his name. We don't get
right.
No Diddy. What they say? No Diddy. That's good, man. I think all of our Mount Rushmores are solid. As you know, as wrestling fans, I think a lot of wrestling fans would say the same. And going to B-sides and deeper cuts, you know, like you can make 10 different Mount Rushmores.
Technical wrestlers, best promo guys. Flair's going to be on all of the lists. Yeah.
Incredible, man. And this dude, he wrestled his last match at what, 70 something?
Yeah.
80?
Yeah. And it's pro wrestling, so he's not done. You know, I saw Terry Funk wrestle 19 last matches, and he'd always come back. Yeah. So I'm not counting Flair out till 2 years after he dies. And be like, all right.
Well, his daughter, she's getting healthy, man. She's about to come back.
Good.
I'm excited to see
She's
her
already
back.
a GOAT, man, for me.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Charlotte commands the ring like nobody else. Like you tell she's like the vet. Like, I'm gonna show you ladies how it's done, you know.
And guys, bro, because I think for me that's why I have her as a GOAT. Because even for guys, it's like, damn, like she can do stuff that what the boys can't do.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all the 4 horsewomen. Like that whole group. Really, they pushed them and they earned their spot and they've kept their spots. Like Becky is still so good in the ring. Bayley is still so good. Montez Ford's still so good. So I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we feel good about Mount Rushmores. I like them. I like where we're heading with this. Thoughts on current state of wrestling? WWE, AEW, favorite wrestlers, where we are currently, the current climate.
Would you say, Scott, that maybe AEW is the reason that WWE got good again?
That's an interesting argument for sure. I think from a production standpoint, the lawsuit that got rid of like half of the tech guys who were ruining what the actual WWE product looked like that is out. Triple H moving up, that's helping things. But then it always helps to have competition. Like we saw, that's what made the Attitude Era. Like you had WCW and ECW, and we were starting to get the internet and see everything that was, all across the world. So you're paying people to be better and to keep them there. And you're, nobody's going to get lazier than a company with no competition in any industry.
Because AEW was also like, okay, it's okay to swear. It's okay to be like controversial. It's okay to bleed when WWE wasn't,
Let's
like
do what they're not doing.
Yeah, so
How
it's
we gonna
like
serve the community?
people are still gonna like it, to be. And now like WWE, they're saying like, I mean, the Rock's last few promos, right? Like they would have not done those like 3 years ago,
Yeah, it makes you. I seen some sport. So me and my family, we watch Raw on Tuesdays because obviously my son can't stay up that late, and so Tuesday's Raw night for us. And I seen a clip of Cody bleeding. And I was like, "Ooh, where are we going with this? Are we switching some things up? Are we getting a little bit more lax?" And seeing where we're going with Raw heading to Netflix, does that mean we're gonna get the shit talking? Because it hurt my heart when SmackDown was bleeping out The Rock because Rock die Rock or Rocky die Rocky, the poster in the back. It's like, are we gonna be that made my experience horrible. I hated SmackDown and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's tough. I think going to Netflix is going to be interesting because you have obviously the network censors who have been blocking stuff, but also they've got other sponsors that they're still going to have to, if Slim Jim or somebody doesn't want them saying, whatever, they'll block that too. So I don't know if it's going to be like a golden ticket opportunity to do whatever they want. And I also don't know if I trust WWE to fully have no reign of anything. To me, they're the standard, and then everything is just sort of in comparison to WWE. So I don't mind that they have dips where things are kind of bland because their high points are so high, and their overall consistency, even with the dips. I mean, nobody's been doing it that long for that well. Like Jay-Z. They're the Jay-Z of wrestling.
It's true.
Yeah.
They set the standard. I love where women wrestling is right now.
Yeah.
Not women wrestling, but the women in wrestling. We have talents, and honestly, like it goes into the male part too. I honestly think that the WWE might have a problem with too much talent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have a Royal Rumble party every year where we bring in some friends and we pull numbers and bet, and it's so fun. But most of the people who come never watch wrestling outside of that party. So they're being introduced to the casts and characters and everything each year. And they'll remember some that like show up all the time, or The Rock's there, somebody that's entered pop culture. But for the most part, they don't know anybody. This year, everyone was blown away by the women's wrestlers because they all looked so different. Like Shotzi's coming down in a tank, and some are like, fun, cute little Japanese girls. And everybody just got to pick their favorites because they look so different. Then we got to the men's rumble, and it's a lot of the same. Talented guys, but like as far as like gimmicks to like need to stand out, you just don't have that right now. A lot of guys wrestling under their real names. It's almost like you've got two different divisions going on where like Asuka can be Asuka, but then Austin Theory is Austin Theory. You know, and I want the flamboyant Asuka side of things. Yeah. I like the crazy, the colorful, the costumes. Like, it's wrestling. Have fun.
Well, that's where I'm at. Is Asuka's reign was so short, and now she's playing second, third fiddle on Damage Control, and it's like her trajectory was crazy with her, Bianca, Charlotte, you know, holding that title. Asuka is an incredible talent. Io Sky is an incredible talent.
Yes.
And I think Io Sky I'm getting chills. I think Io Sky even isn't being pushed as much as she should. The story is Bailey, unfortunately.
And what's hard too is there's just so much competition, you know? And so I have faith that if they can not get injured, you know, any of them can like rise back up with the right storyline, and you just can't have everybody in the main event at the same time. And right now it's Rhea Ripley for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I was going to say with Asuka and even like Shinsuke, like, you know, they may connect with like super, I guess, fans that are into wrestling, but they can't speak super good English. They're not going to connect with like the majority of like America.
But what's interesting is AEW just got Okada. Yeah. And so I'm very excited to see, and they've had like, you know, Shibata, a few others that have been on now, and same kind of thing, but they're finding people to pair them with. They're finding people like, you can put a Paul Heyman with anybody and he'll get anybody over. Paul Heyman should be on my list too, honestly.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Hall of Famer, man.
Or even like back in the day, like when you had like one guy that I remember a lot is like Tajiri.
Loved Tajiri.
Right? Like he would just speak in Japanese and they would just maybe put captions. Yeah. And you would be like, whoa, this guy's super cool. He had a cool move. Right, and like you didn't even have to understand his language, but they branded him really good with like Tori Wilson and stuff like that too. And then he had his wife.
Yep.
At one point, so like they weren't even like trying to translate or have him speak English or anything like that. Like he was just straight Japanese. He's like a douchebag and he's angry. He'll spit on your face.
It's a big step up from Kai and Tai. Do you remember when they just used to like dub their voices like a Godzilla movie? It's like, indeed. It's like, and then I would see them in ECW or in Japan, and they were like four of the best wrestlers I ever saw. And in WWE, especially in the 90s, they did not know. It was the quote I always remember is like such a low point is they're holding up a samurai sword, gonna chop off Val Venus's dick. Yep. And they're just like, I'll choppy your pee-pee. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. That's
not politically correct at all.
Even back then I was just
Let's go to Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, bring it back, Netflix.
Yeah, we're gonna have the N-word thrown around.
Right.
Yo, with Vince McMahon with,
because you already because you know it is backstage. That's the troubling part. You're just like, oh, they only say it backstage for sure. Now they can go crazy.
I think it's harder now to also push like guys, like for them to find a gimmick, because there's like now it's like the real world, right? There's like social media, so it's like you have to see more of like Logan Paul. He hits because like people get to see him like do all this other things, and you know how he's like a real person jumping into pro wrestling. So he has that thing. Or same with Cody. Then he goes to like AEW. He's like, screw this. I'm me, right? I'm gonna show you guys who I am, who you know I should have been this whole time. And he does it, and like people are like, that's him. You know, that's he's just being himself. He's being like ambitious. Like he knows he's like comes from a legendary bloodline. That's not a gimmick, you know. So that's how I don't know. That's why I think maybe it's harder now for guys to be maybe set themselves apart a little bit more too, you know. His
story, especially like where we're headed to with WrestleMania this year, like it's crazy. I mean, he was Stardust, you know. He was Stardust. He was not even my favorite of the Rhodes, you know. I'm the Rhodes kids, let alone Dusty. Like I wasn't giving any thought to Cody for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But my wife, when she never really watches it, but she'll poke in once in a while. And when he was devastating Cody Rhodes and he had the mask and he was like, no one touched my face, my beautiful face. Like, you can't touch it. She loved that. She was like, who's this guy? And I was like, no one cares about this guy. Only watching it because he's facing Rey Mysterio. Like, and she was like, no, that guy's good. And every time he would pop up, she's like, no, that guy's good. And now I get to tell her, like, he's like the top of the company now.
American Nightmare, man.
Yeah.
Seeing him live, being able to see him live, he's really the WWE's politician. Like he's gonna convert you. He's gonna tell you all the good things. He's the good guy. You want to see him win, and then you put in, taking it off TV, he's a multicultural family. He has a black wife. You know what I mean? Like that, seeing that dynamic and seeing what America, there was a divide in America, and here he is with an American flag on his neck, but he also has a black child. Like it makes me love this dude even more.
I hadn't thought about it like that. Like there's no one else. I never think about it from that perspective. Not one time. I just saw that flag and I salute him every time.
He gives the belt out to the kid in the front row, the same way Ray does the head thing with the kid, and it's just like, okay, we're together. You know, we're together, and he's living what the WWE is saying. You know, at the beginning, we're together. You know what I mean? He's living it, and I love where he's at. Now, what about some of your favorite athletes right now? Maybe outside of WWE, maybe inside WWE. Who are some of your favorites right now?
For me, the best and you already mentioned it, is just Rhea. You know.
Yeah, Rhea's having a
It's
hell of
when
a
it's
run.
just like there's some people that you can tell like, oh, this person's like going to be like just have a long career, you know. And he mentioned with like the four horsewomen, it's like you could tell all of them were like, damn, they're gonna be that good even when they're just like they're still green.
Yeah.
And with her, you're like, I mean, she's like not even in her prime yet, and it's just like she's that good, you know. Where it's like you can't deny it. Like nobody can deny it, you know. Like you watch, it's like, oh, this person's dope.
She has it. She has the look. She can talk. She can work the mic. Even when the WWE is like, you're the heel, America's like, no. The world's like, no. That's our girl. That's our baby face.
Yep.
And
she's the next Stone Cold. Like, you know, she's the closest thing to Stone Cold in the WWE right now.
And that's what's crazy, because like you think about even Roman, how hard and how long they pushed him, and then you get somebody like her that's just like undeniable talent, you know, that's just like you said, you know, be a heel, like it doesn't matter, you know, like I'm just that cool. Like that's why with her, I think she's probably going to be one of the biggest just superstars. I mean, she already is, you know, but that's like undeniable. Nobody can debate that, you know.
Nobody. She's
and
incredible.
You can't teach that.
By God! By God! Is that DJ Juggy? Yeah. What? By God!
What you gonna do, brother?
What's up, brother?
When the heavy hitters
Cashing in the briefcase.
run wild on you.
You know what the funny thing about that is?
Oh my God.
Is that Scott, so Wonder couldn't make it. Wonder's sick.
What's going on, man?
But
Those are good.
Scott was like, he's gonna pop in. He's not sick. He's gonna pop in, and the whole time I'm like, nah, I got two people coming.
You should have turned off the lights. You could have been like the Undertaker. Could have been good. Yeah.
Oh man, so we
You
just
brought
had.
Taz and Hook in the building today. That's pretty cool. That's
We like to be referred to as Darby Allin and Sting.
oh, that's good. Good.
There you go.
I was hoping that he was gonna say Billy and Chuck, you know, but I guess not.
The Dudleys. So we have two special guests that just showed up. Aidan.
Yeah.
And of course DJ Juggy. They're in the building. Juggy, do we say owner, operator of Slap Lake City? Is that kind of the
I mean, it's not really like a business, so you know, I mean, more like the creator.
longest running Utah local show?
Oh, by far.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And big wrestling fans. Yeah, I can see it. So we started off the show with naming our favorite, our Rushmores, right?
You read my mind. I was like, we got to go back. I got to know Juggy's
We're
top
running
four.
it back. So Mount Rushmores. I want to make sure we're in camera. Okay, we're in camera. Mount Rushmores, 4 people to put on your Mount Rushmore. Who you got? And get up on that mic.
Are we going favorites or are we going GOATs?
He went both. So he did like a whole European.
Okay.
So give me both.
Okay, so if we're going GOATs, I gotta go Cena for sure. Hogan, I feel like he's the reason a lot of people, young or old, know of wrestling, like him or not. Hogan, and then there's a bunch of toss-ups, but I feel like you could go Flair, you could go Taker, or you could go Rawk.
But which one are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go Cena, Stone Cold, Hogan, and I'll go Undertaker.
And that's pretty damn close to our list.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
That's a great list.
about you,
None of
Juggy?
us had Cena though.
No, we couldn't see him.
There's the different eras right there.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Chris Jericho on mine, and I was like, you know, he was my guy throughout the different eras. But All right, Juggy.
Yeah, my Rushmore is different, man. I've always had a thing for all the wrestlers that wore makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Sting, of course, he's my number one. Road Warriors following, they're 2 and 3.
Stardust?
And then Ultimate Warrior, and then Stardust is coming in on an honorable mention. But
Don't touch my face.
Sting, Road Warriors, and Ultimate Warrior, and then Demolition, of course. So like
good.
I don't know what it is, man. Like just those dudes always. I don't know.
What's your thoughts on Asuka? Because Asuka probably has the best paint out of all of them.
Yeah, she kills it every time. So it's always like, what is it going to be before she takes the mask off? Then she pulls the mask off. It's always like,
she's grimy.
What about Jeff?
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
They do wrestling
Iconic.
now. Well, in some ways.
You think about it.
We could have that conversation.
We always see the Hatchet Man in the audience.
I bet we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if they're iconic in wrestling.
They have to be, bro.
In wrestling?
Think about it.
They were with the Oddities for like 6 weeks. But now they do have JCW. I mean, we could really go down this path. I was not expecting. I was like, we can go there.
Guys, like, I wasn't prepared for this.
I grew up in a trailer. I know about Insane Clown Posse.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, it's just like
I've been waiting for this. You know Rosie on White Man Can't Jump with the foods that start with the letter Q? He's been waiting for this.
I just wipe the makeup off. Same place as Cody. I've just got a big old hatchet man. I'm ready.
Oh, man. Rest in peace to Juggalos, man. I haven't seen one in a minute.
What?
Yeah.
When's
the last time you seen a Juggalo?
What are you talking about?
Stop it. No, it's gentrified in Magna now.
Oh.
Rushmore. Did you finish yours?
Yeah, Sting, Road Warriors, Ultimate Warrior.
Road Warriors is a great pick.
Yeah.
I had the Dudleys on my list of favorites, but it's right up there with Road Warriors.
Yeah, Road Warriors, hands there. I mean, they're my favorite. I mean, tag team, but yeah, overall.
Will you grab them water, please?
Sting and Road Warriors for sure. Like
Sting, I think because I didn't watch his TNA run, he just disappeared from my life for 15 years. But he never stopped working.
Yeah.
And he never stopped, putting out consistently good matches. And then in AEW, I was watching every week, because Sting was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now, where we currently were when you guys popped in was thoughts on current wrestling. AEW, WWE, your favorites. Current right now. What's your thoughts, Aidan?
Favorite wrestlers or wrestling as a whole?
In general, both.
I feel like wrestling right now, a lot of people say like they miss the old days, they miss this, they miss that. I feel like wrestling right now is like it's in a peak of its own world. Like people look back at the Attitude Era and they look at the star power and they look at things, but I feel like in a social media era, I feel like right now wrestling is at its peak. I feel like for everything, because there's something for everyone. You look at like AEW, and if you like Spot Fest, if you like fast paced, you got that. But WWE storytelling right now is it's unearthly. It's crazy.
Do you think we started a new era with the Bloodline? The Attitude Era, the ruthless aggression, like whatever. I feel like the start of the Bloodline was the start of a new era for them.
I have my answer. What do you think? What do you think?
I think so.
What do you think was the start of this new wrestling era?
I kind of feel it was maybe the birth of what Cody's been over the last few years, mixed with what WWE kept doing when Cody left. Would probably be my guess.
They had to figure something out. Cody was popping. Cody had AEW bubbling.
Was hitting that. What was he? He was hitting the throne with the sledgehammer and shots at everybody, and it was exciting. And then I never thought he'd come back. I didn't know if they would want him. I didn't know that he would want to. I mean, he went and helped start a big company, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm out. I gotta go finish my story." I was like, I thought this was the end. I thought they've added an extra chapter on the end I wasn't expecting.
I think it was the right move.
1,000%. He's making way more money. He's the top guy of a company that said you'll never be our top guy, and that's got to feel better than starting your own company. Is just to go back to the company and be like, I was Stardust, and now I'm main eventing WrestleMania. I don't know what he'll do after that, and I don't know how they'll book him after that. He might get bored and go do something else, but to come back and prove them all wrong is crazy.
You don't think it's also because they're starting to figure out a way to merge sports with sports entertainment kind of too?
I think so.
Now you see WWE, they're on ESPN, they're a lot more in social media, all of them are starting to kind of mingle,
bringing Pat McAfee
together. Exactly, so you see them everywhere. You get familiar, in regular culture with wrestling. I'd probably say maybe.
Attitude Era was so interesting because wrestling was so hot that it was non-wrestling fans everywhere. You had NWO shirts, Stone Cold shirts, South Park wrestling mashup shirts. Like, it was just something that like even non-wrestling fans knew about. And I feel like there's very few things now because there's so many sources of entertainment and so everybody's in their own niche little rabbit hole that I've completely lost context of how big wrestling is.
But what was your theory, Aidan?
I think that the new era started when Roman Reigns came back during the pandemic and like kind of came back as tribal chief and then or head of the table, top dog, whatever he came back as. And then I feel like that kind of rebirthed everything. And I feel like the new era started when Triple H took over creative, because then, like you mentioned, a lot of people like tune in more. And my dad mentioned too, like when Logan Paul kind of came on the scene, I thought it was like, you know, like Mike Tyson back in the day. But then they put the belt on him and he's like a real athlete. And he was like at the UFC pay-per-views and he carries that belt and he's a real heel. But like his in-ring work like makes up for it. Like you can't hate the guy because he's an athlete.
Oh, after
See, that's what we were talking about earlier.
After him and Ricochet, oh my gosh, that moment went down in history. What was that, Rumble?
Oh, when they jumped across the ring and met in the middle.
Oh
yeah.
Oof,
Last Rumble, yeah.
Heard it. Incredible. He's an incredible athlete.
And
I hate to admit it.
Don't be a hater.
But he's the most talented celebrity wrestler there's ever been. I can't think of another one that was famous for not wrestling that came into wrestling. And I mean, it wasn't Snooki.
Mayweather had a nice right hook.
He had one punch, yeah. He took down a giant.
Oh,
Mr. T,
Mr.
right.
T, that's a
Cyndi
good one.
Lauper. Yeah. Yeah, it's as for an old hater like me, it sucks to admit that he's consistently putting on great matches. And I'll pick it to pieces, be like, well, he doesn't wrestle on the road every night. And then he started doing that too. And I was like, all right, he's fine. He's good.
Think about it too. He's running a business. He has a podcast. Like doing all of that and then showing up in front of thousands and putting on a performance. You got to give it up to the dude.
I know.
It's a lot of work.
I hate it.
Yeah, he'll be performing WrestleMania 42. So we'll be talking about that match coming up. What do you guys think about Tiffany Stratton?
I like her.
Other than she's hot. You know.
Oh, okay. Never, I can't say
I
anything now.
like her work. I don't know if she is over with everyone like we think.
Right.
That's what I think. I think like Rhea, if she retains, I don't think anyone will be mad. I feel like
You have not had one bad take yet.
I feel like she's the leader of the Judgment Day, whether anyone wants to believe it or not. She's the hottest thing in female wrestling besides like Becky Lynch and your Charlotte, your Givens. She performs every week and she carries it. And I don't know if they're gonna put Tiffany over her, and I don't know how they would.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Jos.
And this is Jos Beefy.
Listen to the Beans and Rice podcast.
Exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted Podcast with DreRawka.
We are?
No, they are.
Yeah, oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and the
Funk.
G.O.A.T Funk on Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on the Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and be like, and yeah, man, hey, and they could catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G.O.A.T Funk,
wow,
on
that's
the
a
Lake
lot
Talk
of people.
801. Who cares?
What did he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but this probably should be the ad.
Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
I feel the same way. I was watching Elimination Chamber, and we were talking about the Rumble and how all my friends come over to watch it, and they don't watch wrestling, and they were just blown away by how many different gimmicks there were and interesting different types of people in the women's division. And what's hard is Tiffany, like, super good in the ring, but wasn't the one that like stood out. But when Rhea came out, everyone stopped and were like, "Who the hell is that?" And I was like, oh, that's great. And then Dom and everything, and yeah, they loved it.
I was hoping when they went to Milwaukee that we would see a Tiffy Time and Dame Lillard collaboration, but didn't happen.
Come on.
Dame Time, Tiffy Time. I think she's incredible. Knowing that she's was a gymnast, now I'm like, oh, it makes sense. That's why her back handspring's crazy. She's nuts. Who I got on my list right here? I mentioned Ricochet earlier, talking about athleticism. You talking about the weights that you like to see. Ricochet falls underneath that weight class, the cruiserweight.
Oh yeah, cruiserweights for me is everything that got me into wrestling. Mexican wrestling was one of my first big things I watched all the time. I watched AAA growing up, and then in WCW was all the cruiserweights. ECW, same thing. So Ricochet, when he was Prince Puma and did the Lucha Underground stuff, I was obsessed with Lucha Underground. To me, I still think that's my favorite wrestling show that I've ever seen. Like consistent.
How long did that go?
Four seasons. And it's cool. Like I think he retired as champ, but Marty the Moth Martinez is from here. And so he wrestled for UCW and then went on, did Tough Enough, and then ended up as Marty the Moth in Lucha Underground and won the heavyweight championship. And yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, I like that guy a lot.
They hinted at Puma on SmackDown.
Yeah, they did.
Raw,
yeah, they did. He's as fast as a Puma.
Yeah. When does the Judgment Day collapse?
See, that's what I want to ask you guys. That I knew we were talking about wrestling. What do you think is going to happen with that briefcase?
We haven't got to WrestleMania 40 just yet.
Okay.
But what he's referring to is Sir Money in the Bank, El Captain of the briefcase right now, Damian Priest. Will he cash in? I think we get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I like where your mind's at right now.
Yeah.
But as far as Judgment Day goes, I mean, Judgment Day has had a terrific run. You know, right now they hold women's champ, they hold tag champs. Dom holds. Does he still hold NXT? No, he lost that.
Yeah.
And R-Truth came out of nowhere. Thoughts on R-Truth? Comic relief.
I love the comic relief.
He's timeless.
Well, he really is. He hasn't aged in 45 years.
His whole John Cena's my idol gimmick. His whole the T-shirt thing, and then how he's put like DIY over too, like
Regeneration Day.
Yeah,
it's just everything. How he just shows up randomly for matches, and they're just like, hey, this is a women's tag team match, bro. It's like
I'm in Austria. It's Australia. It's
my bad.
Yeah,
that's my bad.
Yeah. What other wrestlers you guys feeling right now? AEW. What do you think about your boy Darby?
I like Darby. My favorite in AEW is probably Hook or Hobbs. I love Hook. I just like his gimmick. I like how explosive he is. The ECW background. I love Swerve.
Swerve is a star.
Yeah. I like a lot of AEW right now. What about you guys? What's your favorite AEW talent?
Nah, right now I'm not tapped into AEW right now like that. I thought the guy that when I started watching that Sammy Cordova was gonna be like that dude. That's who when they start, I was like that he's gonna be the guy. But
I was so excited for Keith Lee. I was a big Keith Lee fan in PWG, and then he just kind of got there, and you realized how old he was compared to everybody else, and how big he is compared to everybody else. And then I think he had long COVID or something. He got sick, and he's never really bounced back. But we saw him in LA with him and Dijak had a. Is he T-Bar now? What was his?
Oh, he's Dijak now.
He's Dijak. Yeah. So him and Dijak had a 5-star Meltzer match at PWG in this little bingo hall we were in. And I was like, Keith Lee is my number one forever. And then within a few years, he got signed. I was like, this is slam dunk. That was the best match I've ever seen. And then it just didn't happen for him. So I root for him. I'm always happy when he's out. And when he was tagging with Swerve, I loved it. But it doesn't always go that way.
You think that was the right sign-off for Sting? Did you like his sign-off, his last match?
I would say for closure, yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have too strong of an opinion on it. I would have liked to see maybe a 3-way, similar to something they did with Ric Flair, where they tag him with someone new. But that's kind of what they did with Darby. But Darby's whole send-off was very ominous and weird too. So I would say for closure, yeah, I would say it was good.
Do you think it was his last match?
I don't know.
We were talking about that earlier. I watched Terry Funk do 50 of those things. That's my last match. And then bring him back out.
That's what Undertaker said recently. He said he doesn't attend wrestling events because he feels a need to go back. So you never know. Like he could come back in WWE and we're like, oh, look at this guy again. But I don't know. I would like it to be their last. I don't like last. So I don't like when people retire and unretire.
I agree.
Yeah, like Jordan. Should have stayed your ass home, Jordan. He
like too short. Yeah. And Cher, she's
more like too long. Am I right? Thanks. I thought that was going to be the applause button. That's fine.
Does AEW withstand the weather, the storm of WWE? We were talking about WWE having too many stars. You know, there's a lot of star power in WWE, and not everybody gets that in one spot. We talked about Asuka holding that title for just a short run, but being an incredible athlete. You know, Io Sky is about to lose her title. You know, great talents not lasting for a long time, not getting, 100 days, 200 days with the title. Does AEW, can they compete with that?
I think, yeah, because another big thing with WWE is the longevity booking. Like, some guys right now are over the top, but like Gunther. Gunther's been holding the IC belt when he could put guys like Gable over or Braun Breaker. But he's holding that belt when he really should be fighting Rollins at Mania. So that kind of takes up a card spot. And I feel like the biggest issue with AEW and how it kind of compares back to WCW is WCW ran out of money, but AEW has like unlimited money. It's just their booking. That's the only thing that's kind of holding them back right now. They have way more than enough star talent to hold it together. So to answer your question, I think they can withstand the test of time, but Tony Khan needs to get his act together.
Which is heartbreaking because for me, the internet message board fan, this was the dream. They're going to bring Okada. They're going to do all this stuff. We were following the Young Bucks everywhere. Oh, my God. And we were stopped paying attention to WWE because they didn't have long booking, because they would do stuff every week that canceled out the thing they did before. And so I sort of when AEW came, my viewership of WWE dropped off. And then I've been going back and watching these huge things that their YouTube page has, where it's here's everything you need to know about the Bloodline for the last 2 years. And I'd watched, 3 hours of clips and things. And I was like, they've never done this. This was the Bloodline's gone on for most of the whole Attitude Era. And I can't believe that it's still just this one storyline. So if AEW can get it together, that'd be great. But I don't know that they have to. If they have unlimited money, then Tony Khan can just play Dollhouse and fantasy book whatever he wants. And I don't know. Unlimited money's unlimited money.
How long does the daddy let them play with his money, though?
Depends on how the other ventures are doing, I'm guessing. Yeah, right? Wait, did any of you guys play the video game? The
AEW one?
AEW?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, I never bought it because I was sure it would be. Yeah.
My son's, he's saving his money up for 24. His full bot. He bought a Seth Rollins $26 action figure, and he was literally $20 away from earning 24. And I was like, dog, I want to play 24. Why? Save your money. I think I might just buy it for him.
Does AEW help with also just being there with contracts, right? Because now it's unhappy WWE superstars can be oh, now I'm gonna go. They kind of get that leverage too, It's well, now I can go to AEW. So even I think that would keep it afloat, because it's just wrestlers can be well, I'm not getting booked good here. I'm gonna go over here, maybe get a run.
I think if they get star power like Sasha Banks, or Mercedes, right? Mm-hmm. I think if they get that, but I don't think we'll see. Braun Breaker, if he went over there, he would go ape shit.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. But let's talk about the big unspeakable elephant in the room. We don't know what WWE looks like post Vince. We have an idea, and I love Triple H, and I think he's but it's not. It's Vince is out, which I think has a lot of positives, but also TKO's a part of it now, and Netflix is going to be a part of it, and it's the next few years for WWE is going to be really interesting. A lot of things are going to change, and I don't know where it comes out on the end of that.
You think Netflix is gonna try to wash it down, or what do you think? Because I think Netflix now with like comedy, they're just like letting you do whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Netflix is, because if you've seen their documentaries, are pretty much all about raw documentaries.
Because Netflix already tried to go woke,
and like you said, all the comedians are all the cutting edge comedians.
They stood by Dave Chappelle on LGBTQ pressure. Like I don't see them.
That's probably the reason why they're going to Netflix is because of that.
They know now that it's like, yo, Netflix, they're just gonna let us do whatever, basically.
But do we want them to be able to do whatever?
Yeah, like look at like Raw, like the last few weeks, there's been way more cussing than usual.
So he was saying,
there was blood last night. I was watching and I was like, Cody Rhodes is bleeding on television, and the Rock's in the same frame. I was like, yeah. So I feel like right now they're kind of desensitizing us, like away from like what is like the quote PG era, and then like when Netflix takes over, it's gonna just be more of this, and you're gonna every week you're gonna feel more and more of that like unfiltered.
Which is so weird too, because like for so long, like WWE in my head is the one for kids. Like it's the safe one that you can like bring your kids to, and like it's not at a bingo hall
So
with like
maybe they'll have Raw, more Raw, and then SmackDown more
like they usually did.
Oh, that's a good point.
Family oriented, Like, Raw. There's a reason why Raw's
it's
on
called
Netflix.
Raw. Yeah. So is SmackDown not going to Netflix? Is it just one of their programs?
It's really confusing, bro, because what's gonna happen with
That's
Peacock?
just a conspiracy I was throwing out there.
Yeah, but I'm here.
I think I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
But what's gonna happen with Peacock? Is what's gonna go? Are they gonna keep their relationships with Peacock? They're gonna have two streaming service relationships.
They can't, right? I mean, is Netflix? Are they getting the catalog? Are they getting everything? Do we know?
What we know right now is Netflix is getting Raw.
Okay.
And Netflix has been dabbling in like live stuff.
Yeah.
Like Netflix, they're holding
Jake Paul.
They're holding Jake Paul. I was just scrolling the other day and it was live like overseas. They had like tennis. Like the tennis championship live on Netflix. Like the movie awards live on Netflix.
Cat Williams is gonna be live on Netflix.
You just go back and you just rewatch it live. So I think the Raw catalog. But I'm just, like you said, I don't know what they're going to do with Peacock.
Also, how much of it, too, it's like you got to remember, like, now as an adult, you're like, oh, it's crazy. But when we're teenagers and you see, like, something crazy like that, like blood or all these, like, crazy, like, all of that's, like, pent up energy that we had. So it's just like, oh, it's like getting released through us just watching these guys beat the shit out of each other. So
but I also saw Kane rape a corpse. So
that's true. And Val Venus almost lost his penis.
So I don't know. That's what I think that's what I worry about. But luckily with Vince out, I'm like, okay, we won't have some
of those things.
Well, some of that will be toned down, which will be good. It's still 2024.
Hopefully they don't put Stephanie on a cross again.
I know.
Let's not do that.
It's so I think I have some like bad PTSD of like being 14. I thought it was awesome. Looking back, not so much. And I'm like, don't let WWE do whatever they want. We had that. It was super racist, and it was like.
I don't think they could. I don't think they could get away with it at this.
No way.
Definitely not Triple H and
Psychosis coming down on a riding mower. Like it's wrong.
I'll get random like 90s WWE memes, video memes that come through, and I send them to him. I'm like, this is what we grew up on. This was on regular television.
And Hulk Hogan.
What is it? Nigga.
Like even the sex scene. Remember,
Asian Lita.
Oh, with Asian Lita.
Man,
that was crazy.
There was a lot of the they're resurfacing now. You see all the Vince McMahon things, where he's calling people the N-word, and
it's crazy.
It's just like, this was on TV, live TV, like. It's the boss. What's anyone going to say?
Exactly.
I think the biggest difference you can see is women's wrestling. Like where women's wrestling is now versus when we were watching. I mean, it was bra and panties matches. It was,
pillow fights, lingerie match.
It was awful. It was, and then there were, things are coming out about Ashley Massaro and things are coming out about, everything that was going on backstage, and it was just the worst. And I love ECW, but it was just as bad there. And now look where we are. And everyone said you could never have a woman headline WrestleMania. You could never have, women do X, Y, and Z. They've proved it all wrong. They always could have. They just weren't given the shot.
Do you think any of the women now in wrestling would be on Playboy like Sable was?
That's a good question.
OnlyFans now. So
right.
I could see Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't,
Rhea
want,
Ripley.
you don't want Rhea to rip them?
Do you think the WWE would let them like they did?
Nah.
Not with I don't think so.
Nah.
Well, I don't know.
A whole,
It's like,
a whole issue. A whole issue. Like, I don't think they did a whole issue, but there was definitely a few. I don't remember.
Sable was doing a lot. Tori Wilson was doing it.
Mickey James.
China did it. Yeah. I think today, no. I think they would put a rule to that. I think they just leave that for like leaked page content.
Right.
And they just go.
Because I was gonna say, to Aidan's point now, it's like what they got, I guess, going on. It's like Logan Paul, just like stuff like that, where they can tap in with like actual things that are happening in real life and be like, yo, these guys are validating wrestling of like, you can see him bruised up, right? You can see him just like being barely able to walk. Yo, like this hurt my body and stuff like that, and kind of reinforce that wrestling is like an actual sport, So I think now there's more energy that you can tap into those pockets, opposed to, I'm gonna put Playboy magazine or whatever,
Do you guys ever remember seeing an athlete like an Ivar back in the 90s and 80s? Mark Henry wasn't doing shooting stars. Ivar is what, about 320?
Bigelow.
Bam Bigelow.
Bam.
Bigelow, yeah.
Vader was doing some moonsaults once in a while.
You had Brock Lesnar when he almost broke his neck.
Oh my God. That was the end of that. Even Big Show used to do moonsaults in WCW. And then Vince told him, like, once he signed over, he's like, big guys don't do that. And it was probably for the best.
What do you guys think about the aesthetic of wrestling right now? We see the digital, what do you call it? When they're walking out and you see Roman, like the digital forms of it. What do you guys think about that? The aesthetic of wrestling right now.
I like everything, but like the huge like CGI thing they put over the screen, like I could do without. But other than that, like the stage and everything else, the pyro and all the stuff, I'm good with that. It looks great. They do a great job of that. But like that thing that they always have on the front, like the CGI thing, like the NFL,
it's weird.
The NFL Fox like robot thing or whatever. Like I get it. We're in the future, but I don't know. I just
because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
The bro, what he had like bunnies come out. Matt Riddle, he had like bunnies jumping around. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I looked at when I was watching AEW. I don't catch AEW often, but it seems like they're not as bright. WWE's very bright. AEW's not as bright, and I wonder if it has to do with audience too.
I think audience.
And the style of wrestling too. Their style of wrestling is darker than
that's true.
Than
Good
WWE.
Point.
So
you look a whole AEW crowd and not see one T-shirt that's not black. I mean, it's like it's a specific crowd, and there's a lot of them, and a lot of times I consider myself one of them. But it's not for kids. Just in the style of wrestling that's happening, the storylines, the character development, it's for wrestling nerds. But I feel like I would never take a kid to it if WWE was in town, which can make it like something like the New Day or something like Dom or any of them. I mean, it's so WWE's built for Flash. It's the biggest.
It's the modern day ECW.
It's like the modern day like 3-ring circus too. Yeah. I mean, it's just like you have the ability and the money and the coaching.
Well, as far as like the fan, like you said, the black shirts, the dark,
definitely.
There's no, the low pyrotechnics and the whole 9 yards. Obviously when ECW was around, they didn't have any of that, but it's just the same. ECW was dark. It was brutal, and that's kind of along the lines of AEW. So.
And that's the trouble, I think, with AEW is it's falling into a middle ground where it's not New Japan and totally pure wrestling. It's not ECW, but they're, throwing barbed wire in some matches once in a while. I think they're also young as a company. So they're trying to figure out who they're going to be in, but it's hard because there's so much scrutiny and every little mistake gets put on a TikTok and, sent all over the world. So they're experimenting in front of a gigantic global audience, which is going to result in some weird stuff.
And I think that's what they're doing now, is figuring things out as far as like storytelling. Like when it first came around, it was like every wrestling fan's dream. It was just like every week I'd be watching with my brother, and he like kind of fell out of tune with wrestling, but it would be like, he'd be like, no way, this guy's fighting this guy. And I was like, that's a dream match. That's a dream match for years. Like this has been on YouTube dream matches for as long as I can remember. And then it kind of turned into WWE taking off with the long-term storytelling. And I feel like what AEW has been turned into has been better for like week to week television, because they like have continued storylines, and like the issue before was wrestlers would go off TV and then like a vignette would show of what happened 3 weeks later and people are already over it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, 1,000%.
What's going on in MJF?
Ooh, I had some mental questions prepared. So if we're on topic of WrestleMania, like, what do you guys think about like the bidding war? Do you think it's a real thing, or do you think it's another work, like them taking them off the website? And
it's tough. I hate being worked. I don't know. I was raised with dirt sheets, so I'm always know the back behind the scenes. This one, I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's how they get you now too with that stuff, you know? Those little hints,
Yep.
like, oh, this person's off the website, or even with Brock Lesnar too, they did that thing. It's like, oh, they added him back in the roster, so he's gonna be back.
Yeah, I think he stays. I think that he knows that right now WWE is so hot that he's gonna get lost. He's a short guy. He's, a big name, big star at AEW. I don't know that translates like Cody would coming back. I think, and with unlimited money, they're not in the business of just letting their talent leave all the time. So I think they'll probably work it out, and MJF will stay.
what about you?
Punk's gone.
I mean, if I'm falling for the Tony Khan knows how much he's injured, and maybe it's not worth keeping him on the roster. Maybe it's not worth the money paying him. And does that mean that it's worth the WWE picking him up and benching him? You kind of see what they did with Naomi. I mean, they were now she's. I think Naomi. We see her at WrestleMania. I think they're gonna make somewhat her Jade and the only other black girl. What's her name?
Bianca?
There we go.
I don't want to be racist, but I do know one more black girl.
Good guess.
But I see. I don't know what. I don't know if he's really truly injured as much as they say he is. I don't see the point in having him on the roster. And I don't know if WWE can pick him up maybe for just like talking. But we have enough of that. Now we see what happened with CM Punk. We don't need another CM Punk.
That's a great point.
It's annoying.
He's too young to be an agent and teach everybody backstage, which is sometimes when you get too injured, that's what you end up doing. He could help cut promos, but WWE's doing great with promos right now. So I don't know.
Too much star power, in my opinion.
So much.
But Aidan, I don't want to go ahead. What do you think?
I think he shows up either Mania Night 2 or Raw after Mania.
Damn, bro.
Shit.
I think if we get him on Raw after Mania, it's Triple H being like, thank you, and he's like, I just wanted to let you know, everyone, like, someone is always better than you. And I think we hear that tone hit, and he comes out, and I think that would be the biggest pop since Cody. Even before that, I think that'd be bigger.
That'd be crazy.
Dang.
I think it would be bigger because when Cody came, everyone kind of had the idea. There was the commentary hits, there was this, but I feel like we've been worked by AEW. So I feel like right now, like, the biggest thing that's so good about WWE is the unpredictability.
Yeah.
Every week I'm watching and I'm like, is Rock going to turn around and rock bottom hit Roman?
Mm-hmm.
Is like, what's going to happen?
And that's so different.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so different from the bulk of WWE that I've watched. And I think it just speaks to saying, like, we were at a real low point a few years ago, and we're at a very high point now. It's like post-Cena, they're trying to figure out what happened. You have the Thunderdome pandemic garbage. There's like nothing to go back and watch there. And now we're at a real high point. Now I'm like, I think I watched WWE again. I think I'm back into it.
Did you guys ever have one? Did you guys make it on the screen for WWE during the pandemic?
I never did.
No, he got on. I'm guessing.
One time we did. One time we did, but it didn't like. You couldn't really see us, and like it didn't like the sound didn't work. I don't know. It was weird, but we tried. Like we got the password and approved for it.
Wow, that's cool.
Did the whole thing, but it didn't. We couldn't get it to like work on our end. So I think they just like.
I forgot about that.
Had some people like in the queue, like waiting, for us to not work, and then they just put them in. So like,
interesting.
That's dope. All right, guys. So before we started, Will Wonder from the Will Wonder Podcast, he actually produced this show. He wanted to be here. Let's move into our next topic. Favorite Mania moments ever. So we should have two. Let's start with Beefy.
Man. What was hard for me is there's like too many Shawn Michaels for me, you know? And then I was going to put I always like Lesnar Undertaker moments for me.
Yeah.
When they had, it's like their matches was always like, that's when you knew like you didn't get Undertaker that much, but you're gonna get him against Brock Lesnar. It's like you got to see him. But I'm gonna go with Eddie versus Kurt when he got the championship, because I love both of them, man. I love like Kurt Angle and I loved Eddie.
That ankle lock was crazy.
Yeah, so that's when. So I'm gonna go with that one. It's WrestleMania 21, and then I'm gonna go to the other one was Shawn versus Ric Flair.
Oh yeah,
retired. So
that
one was like another match for me. That's like, okay, I guess I have to put a Shawn Michaels match there.
The Heartbreak Kid. Scott?
For me, I had the two that like everybody talks about, like streak being broken, Hogan body slamming Andre, like the end of 2 WrestleMania eras. But my favorites were match, I think, is probably Bret Hart Stone Cold at 13. Start of the launch of the Attitude Era, and you got the blood coming down, Stone Cold. I love that whole match, bell to bell. And then Edge spearing Jeff Hardy in the TLC match while he's dangling from the belt.
2, right? That was 17, yep.
Yep. So those were mine.
Aidan?
I'll have to say in Florida.
I knew you were gonna say that.
We were there. We were there.
I already know.
Hardy Boys came back.
You were there.
Yes.
I was screaming.
It
was embarrassing.
My little brother and I were too young to like be on social media, but the crowd knew. They were chanting delete. My brother and I were kind of confused, and all of a sudden the music hit. And that's always our favorites growing up. My little brother always.
I got the chills, yo.
Yeah, man. I'm just imagining the music.
Yeah, my little brother always wanted to be Jeff Hardy. Always did the arm swing, tried to give me a swanton a few times. I wouldn't let it happen.
Man, I went to Dollar Tree, got pantyhose just to.
I would say that. And
New Day was bringing them out at that time, right?
They were the host.
Yep.
And they had wrestled a huge ladder match for another Fed the night before, so everyone was like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen." And then when that music hit, same. So I thought the New Day were coming out to be the 4th team. Then they start doing the hoo hoo,
and there was a pretty significant long pause before the Hardy Boys hit.
Yeah.
Because you could like hear it pin drop in the stadium. Like it was
crazy.
quiet. Everyone was talking. Like he said, the diehards were screaming, delete, 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 delete.
You got to experience that live.
That's something I'll never forget.
That's dope.
They let us sweat it out for sure. Everybody was waiting. Everyone was waiting.
It's a long 5-second pause. Even like thinking
it
about
was longer than that. It was longer. It was longer.
It was just like everyone's standing there. That was a good Mania. Being there, maybe a lot of people didn't like that Mania, and then probably another one that I was there for, just because the build up behind it, even though the match wasn't all that, just Cena being in the crowd of New Orleans, and then like getting the referee telling him that he was gonna have a match, and he came out, and then Undertaker came out too. Being there for that was crazy. Yeah.
How many Manias have you been to?
2. We went back to back. We went to, I think it was 34 and 35, New Orleans and Florida.
You didn't go to California?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I went to that one.
At Levi's Stadium?
Yeah.
Was that Hollywood? Was that last year?
No.
That was Sting Triple H starting off the show.
Oh, okay.
That was Heist of the Century.
Yeah.
Cash in.
Damn, you went?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I'm jealous.
We got to see the Seth Rollins do the curb stomp and then the RKO out of nowhere. That was one of the craziest things I've seen. And then when Rollins cashed in to make it a 3-way. Yeah, that was great.
Juggy?
They're both moments from live events that I've been to. The Iron Man match. We were a kid and we were just like, next thing you know, Shawn Michaels just comes from above us and just into the ring from the rafters.
Oh, man.
So that's crazy you were there for that night.
Yeah, that one.
Damn, you old as shit.
Hell yeah.
Hey, watch it, okay? He's in a protected class. Come on, man.
All right.
And probably the WrestleMania that was at Levi Stadium. Seeing the Sting with NWO and Triple H with.
I forgot about that.
With DX.
With DX, it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's dope.
It's insane that Sting lost that match. I'm
Right.
still salty about it, but I was like, oh, I never got to see Hogan. Like the check off the box, like, oh, I got to see all these guys and all together. That was cool.
Yeah, I never got to see Sting with NWA or WCW because I lived on the West Coast my whole life, and if you know anything about wrestling, it was a very rare case. Bash at the Beach, maybe, you know, like, but there wasn't very many. It was always down south, Midwest. They never really came like past Texas, NWA and WCW as kids. So I never got to see Sting in rare form. And then we saw him when he was with TNA. Yeah,
I went to that Maverick Center.
At the Maverick Center.
Yeah, it was cool.
House show?
Yeah.
It was a
house show?
TV taping. They taped 2 episodes of their show, the back-to-back.
Dope.
So Sting was in like a battle royal or a gauntlet match or something, and I was just so happy to see him. And then when I was at that WrestleMania, I was like, oh my God, like I finally got to see Sting. I'd completely forgot about the time I'd seen him before at TNA, where I was like, this is the best day of my life. And
I almost felt like that didn't count. I was
that's how I felt.
Kind of being here for this, like, I'm going to just say this is my first time seeing him. So
that's what it felt like. Yeah, years later, I was like, oh shit, I did see him. No, it wasn't that good.
But honorable mention was having my kids there because that was their first WrestleMania was the one we went to in Orlando. Wow. So crazy. Them, being there, and seeing the Hardy Boys and their favorite wrestlers, favorite tag team come out. That was
man. I wish I could have heard that.
Yeah.
Doom. Oh my gosh.
What about you?
So I too put TLC match 2, Mania 17, Spike and Rhino, man.
Oh yeah,
Rhino was a savage.
Yes,
seeing him, and then last year Hollywood, the tag team titles for Sami Zayn and KO, the Usos. I think that was that moment right there. Obviously, we got main event Jey Uso, but that was like a pivotal moment for the Bloodline story. And to see what Sami just went through with, I think it was right after Saudi Arabia, right? Like, to see what him and Kevin Owens have done, it was just, I don't know, it was just the height of those two. And then to see them defeat the Usos in a great match. And the Usos, their attire just looked dope with the red and white. I was like, oh man, this is dope. So yeah, those would be my 2.
Yeah, those are great.
I did have a question. I mean, Aidan, you mentioned you had John Cena in one of your top matches, but you were there. But when I was going through mine, because I was there for like the whole John Cena, you know what I mean? That was like, he's like a GOAT, but I couldn't think of like a John Cena match. Has he had like matches like that or
like an iconic match?
Yeah, I'm trying to just even think of like some.
I would say for me, either John Cena, AJ Styles Royal Rumble, or John Cena, AJ Styles Money in the Bank, because I was also there for that one.
But what about WrestleMania?
Didn't he beat JBL for the belt at Mania?
I believe so.
No, that was a great match.
Man, JBL, shout out.
All right, fellas, I want to jump into some trivia. All right, I'll go around and give you all a trivia question. All right,
man. Shout out JBL. I hated JBL.
Him and Eddie,
but I loved him. Yeah,
with the blood, that was crazy.
When he was at the border, remember that? Man,
I wonder what Farouk thought about that. All right, the Hardy Boys won the Raw Tag Team titles in a ladder match during their return at WrestleMania 33. But which team walked into the show as champions?
You're gonna give options for the team or no?
No.
The Bar.
No, the Enzo. Wasn't it Enzo and
I think it was Enzo and Cass.
What?
I think it was Enzo and Cass.
Was it them? I don't think it was.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was either.
No, man.
Scott?
I don't know.
Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Dang,
if you'd given me 1,000 guesses,
yeah,
I would have been like, I don't know.
Enzo was hot at that time.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, Enzo was hot at that time. I remember because all my kids had the merch. The leopard print merch.
Yeah.
What was the saying?
SAWFT.
Yeah.
He was putting everybody over, man. Like it sucked that but he was good on the mic.
All right, question 2: true or false? The only WrestleMania casket match The Undertaker ever completed was against. Hold on, I gotta reword this. The only WrestleMania casket match The Undertaker ever competed in was against Mark Henry at WrestleMania 22. True or false?
False.
I want to say false too.
Sexual chocolate.
Yeah, false. Because
it was
I think he fought Kane in a casket match.
But was it WrestleMania?
Because at Royal Rumble 98, he put Kane in the casket and set it on fire, or vice versa. But I don't know if that was to set up at the next event a WrestleMania casket match.
I know he fought
Yokozuna too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He fought Yokozuna in a casket match.
But was it a
That might have been. I don't know if that was WrestleMania though.
I think we're saying false.
I'm gonna say false.
It was actually true.
True. See,
Mark Henry is the only WrestleMania casket match?
Yep, the only WrestleMania casket match Undertaker ever competed in was against Mark Henry in WrestleMania 22.
Wow, crazy.
This is straight from their website too. So by the way,
Yeah. Huh.
All right, so we're 0 for 2.
Man, shout out to Mark Henry too, man. He had a good run.
Sexual chocolate. Have you heard him on the Busted something busting podcast?
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's
He has-
great.
He has great takes.
He was good on that Table for Three show they used to do too.
Oh, yeah,
I like that. What was it? The Rock sent him the watches and then did the thing with Farouk where he got like a framed picture of the Rock. It was so good.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3. Which superstar said the following? Woodstock was the rock and roll. Woodstock was the rock and roll. Was to rock and roll what Mania was to wrestling. Woodstock was to rock and roll what WrestleMania is to wrestling. A. Bobby the Brain Heenan. B. Jesse the Body Ventura. C. Gorilla Monsoon. D. Mr. McMahon.
Okay, I feel like
That sounds like
Gorilla
something
Monsoon.
something Gorilla Monsoon would say.
Yeah, if he knows what Woodstock is, that's the trouble. The guy was like 4,000 years old, so maybe Heenan would have
Jesse the
said
Body-
something funnier.
Jesse the
Jesse
Body,
is because he was like tied into like Hollywood and
Music
knew all
and
that. Yeah,
movies, yeah.
I kind of think that. And fourth one was Vince.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Vince would ever acknowledge something else. I think
He wouldn't give a free drop to another.
That's what I
company
feel.
Making money. I'm gonna go with Jesse the Body Ventura.
Same.
Ding, ding, ding. We got a winner.
Hey, we're all on the same team, okay?
On the board. All right. Question number 4. Which Mania hold on, what the hell?
He's not reading them right. That's why we're getting them wrong.
No, because it says Manus, but I think it's Mania. Which Mania was the only superstar to cash in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania? So which superstar was the only one to cash in his Money in the Bank?
Like it
at
gotta be
Mania?
Rollins, right?
Cash in and win.
Cash.
Cash
It
in
just
general?
says cashing in.
Only one is cashed in at Mania.
That's what it
One?
says.
I mean, we saw
Probably
Rollins
win.
do it.
I'm gonna say, knowing the answer, I would say and win.
Yeah,
I
probably
guess Rollins.
Well, I'm not gonna go through it, but yes.
Yeah, I was like, I tell you one for sure because we
Yeah.
saw it. But yeah, he's the only one who's cashed in.
And won.
And one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What month is Money in the Bank? Like May. So I guess it's a long time.
It's in summer. It's July.
July. That's a long time to hold on to a briefcase. So I could see that.
Okay. Question number 5. True or false? Ozzy Osbourne acted as the manager for the Headbangers at WrestleMania 13.
True.
Yeah, I'm gonna say trees because he was around. I remember that time he had his TV show, all of
He
that.
had the Osbournes right then.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I was gonna say no, but with the Osbournes being
Yeah,
on
I'm
right
thinking
then,
about it. I'm like,
but I don't have any image of him at ringside.
We don't have to tell him that. He doesn't have to know that.
Yeah, but that would affect my answer. Do you remember him? Do you remember like Ozzy?
No, but during WrestleMania they always have celebrities
Yeah.
and random things like that. So
He didn't do a run in.
I don't know for sure, but I feel comfortable saying yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say no to be contrarian.
Okay.
I'll say no too. I
Okay.
feel like it's a little too specific.
I would agree. It was false. Ozzy was a manager for the British Bulldogs at WrestleMania 2.
Now that WrestleMania 2 makes more sense. Like he could barely walk on the Osbournes. Like Sharon. I was like, what? The Mania ramps are long. Like, that's gonna take
Especially the
4
Hollywood one. That was really long.
It's so long.
All right. Question number 6. Who said the following at WrestleMania 30? This is your destiny. You hear me? This is your destiny. A. Bray Wyatt. B. Paul Heyman. C. Stephanie McMahon. Or D. The Rock.
So I'm gonna go to Paul Heyman. I don't know why. Sounds like he's like.
Well, if I don't answer it, that means I don't get it wrong.
I like that.
Can't beat
I'd
the
like to
system.
remove some of my past answers.
I was mute.
WrestleMania 30. I feel like that's your bread and butter. I'm hearing it in each of their voices. Trying to think like who they would say it to.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'll say Stephanie.
I weirdly thought it was Stephanie too.
Wait, what Mania was 30? Was that the one? That's the one you were at.
No, I think that was like 33 maybe. I'm going to say Stephanie. Let's do the wild card.
You guys are incorrect. It was Paul Heyman.
I said Paul Heyman.
Yeah, you're right.
You were right. Good job, Beefy.
Does it say who he was saying it to?
I'm assuming Lesnar.
But I'm saying probably
Oh,
Lesnar.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming. So it was probably Lesnar, Undertaker.
Yeah,
Probably, right?
Oh, was 30 the year the streak broke?
I think so.
Got it.
All right, 7. Sorry, we got Zuma downstairs. This superstar defeated both Lita and Trish Stratus in a women's championship triple threat match at WrestleMania 18. A. Chyna. B. Ivory. C. Jazz. Or D. Tori Wilson.
Jazz was underrated. I will say that. I'll go on the books to say Jazz was underrated, but I don't think she won a match.
Was Ivory? She was a black chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, Ivory was a white. She was in the right to censor.
Oh, Jazz was black.
Jazz was black.
Oh,
Ivory was the short. She used to be in Women of Wrestling, Glow. She beat Lita and Trish Stratus.
It can't be Tori Wilson. It can't be, right?
This superstar defeated
No,
both
not
Lita
for a
and
title.
Trish Stratus in a women's championship triple threat match at WrestleMania 18.
Tori never won the belt.
I don't think so, huh?
No, I don't think Tori ever won the belt. So
Say the options again. Can you say the options?
Chyna, Ivory, Jazz, or Tori Wilson.
I'm gonna go with Ivory.
I'll go Chyna.
I'm gonna go with China. I'm gonna go with China too.
Scott?
I'm jumping back in.
I remember China having more belts than Ivory. I'll go with China.
It was Jazz.
Damn.
Good for her. Underrated. I've always said that.
Yep.
Don't you got like the?
I need to add it.
Jazz.
All right, question 8. In his 27 WrestleMania appearances, The Undertaker lost twice to who?
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
I was gonna go A, B, C, or D, but you got it.
Yeah, well done.
Good job, Aidan.
Nice.
All right, last question.
I was
here.
so mad when Roman beat. Man.
Yeah, Roman should not have won.
No.
Was that silver eye Roman? We had the silver eyes, little gray eyes. Remember
Because if it's deceased? Oh, I thought it's because it's deceased. I was like, bro, you better not say that.
No, he didn't have cancer then, did he?
He's always had it, yeah.
Oh,
No,
I don't know that he's always had cancer, right?
yeah.
Well, it just flares up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
like
know
his
much
blood.
about it.
All right. Question 9.
It's
This is
weird
the
to
last
have
one.
cancer and then brag about your bloodline. Like, get your health in check, guy. It's
Scott bars.
is it genetic?
It's because he's from an island. It's a Polynesian, bro. Come on, bro.
You need to stop with the Paul.
The bloodline doesn't go too far. That's what I'm trying to say.
They're gonna come for your neck.
Hey, shout out to the Polynesian community. All my Usos out there, man.
All right, last question here. Undertaker has BSK Pride Bone Street Crew tatted on his stomach. Who was not a member of BSK? A. Rikishi. B. The Godfather. C. Sid Vicious. Or D. Yokozuna.
I think I would say
I'm going to say Sid Vicious because Yokozuna sounded like that's like the obvious one, right?
He's a co-founder.
Yeah, I think Sid Vicious.
I thought Yokozuna was really Japanese.
A lot of people
Growing
did.
up.
A lot of us did.
You guys are right. Sid Vicious.
Awesome.
All right, fellas. We're approaching an hour and a half on the pod. So now let's get into WrestleMania 40. Now we have some of the matchups aren't complete just yet. The Judgment Day defending their tag titles. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Awesome Truth, DIY, which is one of my favorite tags right now. And we don't know who else is in it, but it's a ladder match. Thoughts on this match? Do they retain? Who do we have a new title? What do you guys think?
I think the only way they retain is if Rhea retains, and you got to keep them all together. And then I feel like I've been seeing like a lot of the obvious answer is like R-Truth climbs the ladder, R-Truth only grabs the Raw belt, someone grabs the SmackDown belt. That's how they do the split.
Yeah.
That's what I've been seeing. I don't know who the last two.
They're gonna
are.
use
Yeah, I'm here for it, by the way.
I feel like R-Truth, like he goes up and he's like, I only like blue. So he just grabs those belts. And
I gotta get both of them.
Yeah.
My bad.
I don't know. I think it just depends who you throw in. I hope DIY wins. They need to get over like how they were in the NXT days.
But if they split it like that, they could still get it.
Yeah.
What other tags are out there to even qualify? Who else is because we're waiting for SmackDown, right? To see who else is going to be in the match. What other tags are there?
I don't even know. Who is left. I think they're doing a tournament or matches. I don't know who you could even throw in there. That hasn't been already because Pretty Deadly lost.
Creed lost.
The Dudley boys are coming back.
Yeah.
Hey, don't play because Bubba's ready.
Devon is not.
That's the rumor out there.
Trouble.
Bully's ready.
Spike's around. I don't know. He's Spike. Yeah, Spike's alive.
Yeah, he is. Man, after Brock Lesnar had him.
A lot of people.
So kind of on the fence about it, but honestly, I don't see anybody taking them out. But
you also in these matches where you've got a bunch of contenders, you do see like more times they retain than not. And I don't know why that is, but I feel that like where it could be 8 different people winning, I feel like a lot of times I watch and I go, oh, the champ got it. And maybe it's because they want to drop the title in a big one-on-one that they've built up. And this is just kind of a battle royal or something where, you got to shove in 30 people. I hope they do something interesting like that. I could see them retain and just try to figure it out for, what is it, Fastlane? What comes after?
Or use it to bring in another tag team from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next match is this one hasn't been confirmed yet, right? Rey and Escobar.
I think
was that confirmed?
I think it was confirmed on SmackDown.
Okay. Thoughts?
I think it's a good show opener. Definitely won't be a barn burner. I think Rey puts him over, and they had Dominic come out, so I think they're gonna rekindle father-son. I think Rey's coming to an end on his career, so I think he wants to go out putting his son over.
I'm over LWO. I'm ready for it to end.
It's never worked. I don't think
They were my favorite back in the day. Like I had an LWO shirt because it was like every week it was just nothing but like white and red, black and red.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine. But when LWO came in, it was like Psychosis, La Parka, like all these guys that I loved. And I was like, maybe they'll get a shot.
Lucha Libre?
Yeah. I was like, maybe they'll get a shot at like having some screen time. And it really was just Conan and Rey.
Well,
really.
I always loved Psychosis.
My number one growing up as a kid was Psychosis. Yeah. Number one.
I wish they Dragon Lee. He kind of just was done.
Yeah, that was a big signing on like Instagram, and people were flipped over that, and then he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I thought that would have been the introduction. I would have rather had Dragon Lee and Santos than Rey and Santos. But hey, yeah, I think you're right. I think Rey puts him over.
Oh shit! I got a Psychosis plug. Psychosis just broke his hip, and he's got a GoFundMe right now to help pay for his rent and stuff and all his costs. So, just plugging that right now. Go help out Psychosis.
There you go. Help him out. All right, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, KO for the United States champion.
Has Randy been gone for a while? I can't remember.
He's been back almost since
November, but he was gone like 2
he was
years
injured
before.
for a while. Yeah.
So is there a chance that they're going to give that to him as like a big WrestleMania moment? Nothing.
No.
It's like Logan Paul,
right?
yeah,
too
man.
big.
Yeah.
He brings too much to the table with all the stuff that he's doing and with his energy drink.
Yeah.
And just really just his. I mean like he said, it's not like he's a stage prop. He's fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
he's
I
very
think
good.
Initially they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna use this dude who's essentially bigger than WWE. Right?
Oh yeah.
We'll bring him in, right? We'll probably get some laughs. He'll probably post up some content on his page, yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. Kind of like how his brother, they all, everyone thought he was a joke in the box ring, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Another celebrity trying to get in here, right? Oh, okay. After his first match, whatever. Let's see him do it again, right? Second match. Oh, look, he's kind of ripped out there. He's like working out and stuff. He's serious. Third match, like, oh, okay, you know, like it's kind of getting gimmicky now with like the Mike Tyson stuff and the whole thing. But I mean, yeah, the Logan Paul.
He's undeniably good.
And then the title wouldn't mean anything really if
I feel like you gotta keep him retained because he's like a real champ. Like, you know, Roman's the champ. When you see like the big guys, they carry it everywhere. Like he has his podcast, and I feel like it's good exposure because like people like Cody Rhodes who are big with wrestling, they go on this podcast that gets 5 million views every week, and now people are like, oh, I have exposure to Cody Rhodes. And then you know you're watching UFC and they show all these celebrities, and he's holding up the belt and he's holding up his phone, and it's like, oh, shout out Dominic Mysterio. And he's like, he's really like, he's taking his, like, not even a character, he's taking the character of being a wrestler into the real world.
And he's taking it seriously, which I think no one thought, like you were saying, like no one thought he was going to do that. Everybody thought this is a joke. It's a flash in the pan. Like we've had a billion like him.
He goes on the road. He does the house shows. He does the small TV shows.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do like the big markets. He's out there, and I get it. You know, he gets it. He's an entrepreneur, so he's going out there, and you know, a lot of the people in the WWE world probably didn't know who he was, and vice versa. And, you know, the people in his world don't know who the wrestlers are, right? So,
yeah, you have to have, if you're a wrestler, if you're WWE, you have to have your guys, like we've seen The Rock do it, and all these guys try their best to plug themselves into other people's platforms. This guy showed up with the biggest platform and was like, how about I just like bring you into mine, which has never been a thing before.
You think about this too, with TKO, the UFC, Logan's already fought. He's already said, I'm a wrestler and I can box too. Could we see a guy hold the title in the WWE and possibly hold a title in the UFC? Could we see that? If anybody does it, it could be Logan Paul.
Yeah, if anybody's it'd probably be him. Dana White just starts crying. He's tried so hard to like keep that separate. He's just like, I'll let Brock come, but you're not going to do both at the same time. Like, we are a legitimate front for the mob, and you will not mess that up for us. And now it's all going to get mixed together.
That's the forbidden door no one talks about.
Yeah, exactly.
And the promo is going to be in the middle of the ring for Mania, right? They announced that.
Yeah.
First time ever, 40 years of Mania, we see this logo in the middle of the ring. He can't lose.
So, okay, so all of us are like, he can't lose, but what if this is a match that they get us with something like that? Like, it'd have to be Randy that wins, right?
Yeah, it's not KO.
Nah, KO won't get it.
So they can build him up to go against Randy, maybe?
Or
Just
somebody
have like
runs in and costs them the match and starts a feud that way. But I think you're right. Like, you can't buy the type of publicity he's bringing, carrying the belts around.
He is the belt.
No one. I don't think anyone thinks he should take it off
is
him.
like Randy or KO getting disqualified.
Yeah, I think that could happen.
Right.
Now, before we go on to more events, it is in Philly. We did talk about celebrities. We know that Ali's being inducted, Paul Heyman's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do we see Rocky induct Ali or Sylvester Stallone induct Ali? What celebrities are we expecting? What musical performances are we expecting?
I think Triple H confirmed Meek Mill over the weekend.
I was about to say Meek Mill, but I didn't want it to be a joke.
No, Triple. Maybe Meek takes it back right now.
Yeah, I wonder if that plan's getting changed. We'll see.
Yeah, Meek Mill made an Instagram story and he was like, I'm free WrestleMania weekend, and Triple H was like, it's your city. We're just here to have fun. He was like, we'll let you know. So maybe Meek Mill walks someone out similar to like what Lil Uzi did last year.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm trying to think who's going to do Paul Heyman's speech. My thought is it's Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah. Is he backstage at the company? I don't even know where Tommy Dreamer is these days.
He's on that podcast. He makes appearances, so he does do the podcast for the what network is it? It's some network, but yeah, he's around.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's writing or what he's doing development wise for the WWE, but he's around, so I would agree with that.
Do you guys remember that story he was telling that he showed up to a Raw? This is not kayfabe. This is real life. Like, he showed up to a Raw with a gun after Paul Heyman screwed everybody over and sold ECW and then joined Vince, that he brought a gun and got a ticket to Raw and was going to shoot Heyman on the air. Jesus. And then somehow talked himself out of it.
Wow.
And then ended up getting a job with WWE, and like Paul brought him in and stuck with him in the end. But yeah, he was just like, I had the gun. I got it through security. I was in my seat. I could see Paul. I was going to blow his brains out on live Raw.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then called it off at the last second.
Jeez, I'm glad he called it off.
Crazy. Now he's going to induct him into the Hall of Fame, which I...
That's wrestling right there.
Do you think Paul Heyman's the headliner, or do you think there's someone we don't know about
being inducted?
People still say Bray Wyatt will be announced the weekend.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good call.
You gotta see the Firefly. Yeah, it has to be right.
That's
they
one of
have
my
to do
goats. So I hope so. If not, but then they also have that documentary coming out. So maybe like
April 1st.
Maybe the documentary plugs the induction.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be Bray this year, right? Like,
because I feel like Paul Heyman's one of the greatest minds behind wrestling, but to headline the Hall of Fame, I feel like it kind of threw people off, and they haven't really announced like the full lineup of who it is. Like
over a deceased Bray Wyatt is the wrong move.
Yeah. And then they have his dad being inducted as American Express. I think the tag team's name.
Oh,
is.
cool! That's awesome.
That makes sense.
He was IRS, right?
Yeah.
Mike Rotunda. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you could do both. You could do them back to back. You could do, Man, his dad can't even induct him. That's crazy. That happened so close to each other. Yeah, but I don't know. Ali will be great, but he's not going to close it out. Heyman's not going to close it out. Heyman is going to talk forever.
Yeah.
You might have to have him headline just to let it turn the cameras off and just let him keep talking.
Do they do the induct? When do they do it? They do it
night before.
Night before Mania.
Night before. Okay.
I think it's on Thursday this year because it's on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is on Thursday because Friday is going to be the NXT.
Oh yeah, so
That's right.
So and then Saturday, Sunday is Mania Night 1 and Night 2.
That's so much wrestling.
Oh yeah, it's a big weekend.
That's huge.
It's a big weekend.
When you guys went to your Manias, did you guys go early and go to the other WWE stuff?
He did when he went to the one in California, but we went to the Raw after both.
The Raw after is an atmosphere.
Yeah,
that is like, man, that is fun.
Yeah.
That was more fun than WrestleMania, if I'm being honest. They
really?
had higher highs, but the crowd was rowdy. The crowd was super sexist in San Jose for sure. They just can't. Every woman wrestler came out, instead of like Cena sucks, they would chant "You suck, Cena." And it was every woman that came out happened to be dating somebody. You suck, Jey Uso. You suck, and but beach balls everywhere. Like the crowd was drunk and rowdy and like real buttoned up for WrestleMania. And then once we got to San Jose Arena, it was insane. It was a fun night.
All right, fellas, I want to go into the night one, the tag match: Roman Reigns, Rock, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. This is the one.
So it's what's the if somebody
the stipulation
wins,
is bloodline rules,
which is just no rules.
DQ. It's just like
right
everything.
They're gonna jump them.
Yeah, I don't know that
initiation.
I don't know that you have Roman lose twice.
The Rock can't lose,
and the Rock lose. So I think
the Rock
winning.
has nothing to lose by losing.
I guess.
Yeah,
literally.
He just. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Be back whenever I want.
His build-up arguably has been bigger than Mania. Every week, everything.
Yeah.
He's the biggest thing in the world right now is Dwayne.
But really, but let's just scroll ahead however far this is. But everybody, what do they really want? They want The Rock versus Roman.
We need to see that.
That's what this WrestleMania should have been.
Yeah.
Like, what people thought it was.
That's what always bugs me about WrestleMania.
A couple of years ago,
like
even
that.
people thought that's what this was going to be. Like, what
Leading
else
up
is there
to.
going to be? Or it's either that or Cena winning the title and having the most championships.
Yeah,
which he hasn't done yet either.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have so many storylines that could come from Roman and first of all Roman and The Rock tagging, right?
Yep.
Can go wrong, and then it's like, okay, now we're gonna get what we all want. Them two against each other.
But when do you do it?
Right.
Next
That's
Mania?
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
when the bloodline's so big and so thick right now, like
When's Backlash?
March?
Next month. But the next month, I feel like if you wait, Rock's bigger than Backlash. You'd have to go either SummerSlam or next Mania
or Rumble.
Yeah, you don't throw that away.
Could you do Rumble?
Maybe not Rock now. Maybe in 2016 when he came back and was here. I feel like right now The Rock is WrestleMania. He barely passed that SummerSlam, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like The Rock's a main event.
I think that you could build up Roman Rock a year in advance. Like you don't even have to book it every year. You just go, we're putting a pin in it. Like we gotta let Cody do his thing. Like that's what everybody's going crazy for. Like let's finish it. The long-term booking. Nothing's worse. I mean, we all remember like Sting Hogan 2-year build, and then Hogan beat Sting with cheating and nothing, and it was it was garbage. It was awful. And I think they're smart enough now to not do that with this Cody stuff.
And hopefully.
These three guys are wrestling night two too. Roman, Cody, and Seth are all scheduled to wrestle night 2 as well, right?
Rock's not on night 2 in a match, right?
No, Bloodline rules.
Exactly.
He'll show up, but scheduled is Roman, Cody, and Seth McIntyre.
So there's no way they're going to limit themselves by not having Bloodline rules. Like it's Mania, you want everybody there.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I feel it's like guaranteed that Bloodline rules are going to happen night 1,
night 2,
or night. Right. I feel like the Rock's going to win night 1 to make blood rules to make the second night more interesting. I don't know. Does anybody?
And then anything goes. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't see the Rock. I'm not.
So okay, so I want to move on to LA Knight, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I love LA Knight.
I got my LA Knight shirt on right now.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's what we're rooting
LA
for.
Knight's gonna win.
Yeah.
He was someone I watched one of those playlists on WWE's YouTube because I missed his come up, and everyone was talking about him. Everyone's been talking about him, and I was like, wait, who is this guy? Like, I know him. I've seen some matches, but I was like, and it was just what I thought. He just was like doing funny shit, and people were like, we like that guy. And then now he is where he is. I was like, oh, I didn't miss anything. He's just awesome.
Yeah. He's great.
He's the next, what's his name, Ryder?
Zack
Ryder.
Yeah. My dad's the biggest LA Knight hater.
I like him. I just he's just the next coming of Zack Ryder. He's
gonna come and go.
He's a good looking guy, right? He says that everything. He has the crowd over on all of his sayings that what Zack Ryder used to do the same thing. I have pictures of him with the Zack Ryder hair. So
awesome.
like.
But I feel like what Zack Ryder had to fight for every little scrap that he got and like always made the most of it. But for some reason, WWE is like behind LA Knight and booking him the way he should have been. But what's interesting is
Triple H wasn't in charge when Zack Ryder was.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep, 1,000%.
He sees the talent. He knows. He listens to the crowd. He's not Vince. He's not the egomaniac. Like he's a great businessman.
And I think a prime example of him listening is when The Rock came back. Everyone was like, "You're really gonna book Roman Rock now? Like Cody's right there." And then he was like, "Oh, okay. You're gonna get Hollywood Rock then." And now everyone's like, yeah, this is what's up.
Rock taking it to his personal Instagram and going straight unhinged on us. Like nobody saw that.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that.
Seeing what the promotion that Utah got on that last SmackDown.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No other city got what Utah got, which makes me believe that Ryan Smith Entertainment got something in plan with the WWE. We're getting something in the next 3 to 4 years. We're gonna get
that, or we just lucked out.
Yeah.
Finally, he's a hater.
Now, I saw a theory online. I want to ask you guys about Rock. So people think Rock is gonna pull like a Hogan, and Hogan has something in his claws like Rock has something in his claws where he's creative director, and that's what they told us in real life. So what if they go back, and the creative direction is he comes out bloodline rules and adds himself to the match. And we get like a scenery, like everyone lined up against The Rock, and he's really that final boss. And he's like,
"Oh damn, that's
and
crazy."
Like he gets like real heat. Like so, what if the whole TKO thing was like he gives himself creative control, and he comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "No, I have creative control now." He's like, "Put me in the match." And everyone in the ring doesn't mess with that, and they line up against Rawk. And we really see everyone versus Hollywood Rawk.
That's dope.
I'm picturing Triple H.
It's like a Vince
I know
movie.
he has all the conspiracies, bro. That's why I brought him.
that.
I brought him. That's why I brought him.
Yeah, I'm picturing Triple H being like, shit, that's better than what we did.
That's like a crazy
let's-
twist.
Can we just copy that? Can we copy the Reddit post? I don't know.
Everyone, he calls himself the final boss. Even Heyman. Heyman loves Roman, but he's like, I gotta take it up with the boss.
Yeah.
So what if The Rock comes out and he's like, nah, Roman. He's like you
But
messed
do you
me.
do you think that's like a second match, or you think it's now a 3-way?
It's now a 3-way. But
But
it's
does
just
Cody lose 2 WrestleManias in a row?
I don't think you make him lose. I think it's just for the impact, like Cody overcoming. I think it's like just that thought of you got Jimmy and Jay, they reconcile. You got Roman, you got Cody, you got Rollins, and they're like, we're not gonna let you let this slide again. And they just line up Avenger style on The Rock.
Can I throw something at you? And you're the guy, so shoot it down. But what I'm thinking is, Rock, he doesn't take backseat to anybody. Rock needs to turn babyface before this is all said and done. Do we see Rock turn on the Bloodline, help Cody, help Seth, but they're losing, right? Bloodline comes in. You got Solo, you got Jimmy. Do we see Jacob Fatu?
Oh, please.
Do we see
Come on.
the Samoan werewolf come in and just fucking go ape shit on Seth Rollins, go ape shit on Cody Rhodes? And in order to help them guys, Rock needs to turn babyface and helps Seth and Cody.
And then they can build
And
Rock.
Jay.
But what's his kayfabe reason for doing it? Just to keep things fair?
His kayfabe reason is the elders send the big guy The Rock, and then we got Rock. You got The Rock, Jay, Jimmy, Solo, Roman, and Jacob's just a lone wolf, and he doesn't know who to side with. And then you got family civil war again.
Well,
Just keep that Bloodline storyline going.
and then that's Rock Roman.
Have you seen Jacob?
Yeah, he's nuts, but he has felonies though. And the WWE, they try to keep a clean image.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a job. You still gotta pass a background check.
That's probably my favorite wrestler who's not in any major thing like AW or WWE. Jacob.
He just does it so good.
He's so quick.
Mm-hmm.
He does stuff no one has done. Yeah. Again, it's just the unpredictability. What if, or to even counter that, what if The Rock comes out during the matches and helps them when they're losing? And then his case is, well, I helped you. His case is, I helped you. Now what? I helped you win that belt. He's like,
So many storylines.
You could,
So many.
Do we see Rikishi come out? Does Rikishi come and end the brother feud?
How's he moving these days?
He trains all the guys. He has his
He's
own
in good
academy.
shape.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's moving.
That's awesome.
Okay, I want to go. Let's finish this up. We're coming up on almost 2 hours, guys. So we're gonna run through this. Gunther, Sami Zayn, Intercontinental Championship. Somebody needs to take that title off of Gunther. He's too, like you mentioned, he's too big for the title. Is it Sami Zayn?
No, I don't think it's Sami.
I
don't either.
I don't think it's Sammy, but I think Raw after Mania, he loses it.
Yes.
I think he loses it to Ilya. I think Dragunov takes it off him. I think they take the NXT title off him at the NXT card, and I feel like the real wrestling fans that know that storyline would be like, this is the right move. Because then you can go Ilya Breaker, rekindle that. You could do so much. I feel like that's the right guy to take it off
Are you
him.
seeing night 2, WrestleMania, Raw, 2 championship matches? You think he's putting up his title again at Raw?
I think so. I think he has that. I think Gunther retains, and I feel like he loses it the night after. I feel like he comes out and he's like, who can beat me? And the one guy that took the NXT belt off him. And Triple H loves Ilya. Triple H loves him. So
Juggy. Well done, man.
I love it. All right, we mentioned it before. Jey Uso, Jimmy. The brothers that we wanted to see get it on are getting it on.
This is where I was mad when I was watching all the recaps. I'm mad I missed this storyline. That I'm catching up on it now. I was like, this is one of the best storylines I've ever seen, and for WWE to go 2 years with this and back and forth, and I like that anybody can just wear a hoodie and get past security at all times. Like Tommy Dreamer's just like, I should have worn a hoodie. Like, but like the culmination of this just seems amazing. And for it to not be the biggest part of the Bloodline, like this is just one small part before you head into like 2 night main events with the Bloodline that they'll be involved with too. That's crazy.
I think we're going to see one of the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah.
I picked this for match of the night.
Brothers in real life, and they'll probably, and let's be honest, they'll probably never get this opportunity.
Yeah, that's the WrestleMania moment. Yeah.
So like, not only are they putting on a show for the fans, I think that but they're putting on a show for like their family. You know, like like it's like being in the NBA and playing against your brother. You know, right?
Absolutely.
Steph Curry, when he plays, even when he plays against his little brother plays his heart out. You know what I mean? Like, so I think this is like legit, like our one and only chance we're gonna see them actually fight each other, and they're gonna leave it all out there. Nobody knows each other better than they know each other, you know?
You know, Jay's really, Jay and Jimmy, they're really hip hop dudes. Do we see Meek come out? Is this Dreams and Nightmares right now?
With Jay?
With Jay?
That would be cool. Or even with Jimmy. Meek Mill's a heel right now.
That's true.
Meek Mill is a heel.
That's true. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Yeah.
One of them comes out with Diddy.
And then the other one's going to come out with Uzi.
Amazing.
Because Uzi's from Philly too, and Triple H already he put that out there for him already. He's because Joel Embiid did the thing where he did that
that's
thing.
right.
So like every time somebody does it, something like that, Triple H jumps on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, and invites them out. You know, so
does Embiid show up? He got to, right?
He's chilling, right? I guess probably
he has to show up.
Battle Royal.
I mean, he'll get nothing but slack if he shows up, because it's like, oh, he can't even play the rest of the season, you know. But he's going to show up for
and
for
it's
Mania.
Philly.
Yeah, he's got to though. He's got to.
Freeway. Do you MOP?
Do you think that the Usos are done here? Because they've said before that after they face each other, they're going to retire.
No,
you don't think so?
Nah, Naomi just came back.
Yeah.
Nah, like
their longevity is crazy though.
At that point, I feel like they can write their own check. Like this is like the night to like prove how much of an entity they are for them. I think that was when I was surprised when I sort of went away. I had just watched 2 years, 3 years of the Usos face the New Day over and over and over and over. So that when I came back and I was like, oh, the Usos are facing each other. Oh, okay. And then to find out that it was like the culmination of this giant, great storyline, I was like, well, where was that when I was watching the same match? Now they're facing in a Hell in a Cell. Now they're facing it here. Now I watched the same match 80 times. There was a good match. I watched it 80 times in a row. And then the second I look away, I think it was the pandemic. I sort of just was like, this is the final straw. And then turns out then they're going to go get the best they've been in 20 years.
Nobody else has fan control like him and Cody Rhodes. You know, when main event Jey Uso gets on those ropes, it's insane. I don't see him going anywhere yet. I think he needs to stick around. I would love to see him hold the IC.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens to the Usos, like night 2, Bloodline rules. Like, where are they with each other? Where are they with the Bloodline in general? How do they play into it? I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Okay, next match, Io Sky, who's the current champion, Bayley for the Women's Championship.
Everybody's on Bayley, or?
Yeah, I think Io's run is up. I think Bayley, like, she just got over. Her segments have been really good. I feel like she deserves another run, but I feel like it'll be short-lived again.
Oh, man, they did a great job beating Bayley down, man.
Yeah.
After Dakota jumped, Bayley's always getting jumped. You know what I'm saying?
It's too nice.
She needs to go back to that hugger gimmick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she needs to bring that back.
Yeah.
Okay. I love Bayley.
Yeah, I love Bayley too. She gets the win, even though I think Io Sky's the better athlete.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah. All right, Rhea Ripley, current women's champion, world champion, and Becky the Man Lynch.
Mommy's always on top.
Yep.
But I think we get the Jade Cargill standoff. I think that's the WrestleMania moment. The ultimate payoff of this is going to be Jade beating Rhea.
You think so?
Yeah. Jade, she's like, she hasn't fought a single match and she's over.
She's got to do something.
Yeah.
Dude, as soon as she picked up Nia Jax with no fucking hesitation. I was like, oh, she's dope.
Yeah. Her whole AEW run, I was like, she's in the wrong promotion. And I love AEW, but I was like, I've never seen someone more built to be a WWE style star than her in a long time.
She was undefeated for like 170 matches. They gave her Goldberg treatment.
Yep.
And then they like just buried her. And then she just was like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
It's crazy.
And then she hasn't even like done anything in WWE yet. But Triple H, he loves her.
I hated they announced her, they showed her, and then she was gone until Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, give us her. It's like Braun Breaker, right? Like, stop throwing Braun Breaker these little guys. Like, give us who you gonna put Braun Breaker against? You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna be another dominating force that's gonna not let him just run all over him? You know?
Yep.
But definitely, unfortunately, the man, you had your moment. You got a new book out, but unfortunately, you're gonna lose. All right. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I feel like letting Seth keep it's a mistake.
But I think they might do it. It's the same thing if who's losing the tag match. Do you have them lose twice at WrestleMania? And I don't know if they do that to Seth when you could have Drew win it some other time.
I feel like they owe Drew the moment, and he's pretty over right now too. I feel like Triple H owes Drew that because Drew won when there was no fans.
Yeah.
But I feel like the biggest thing would be like Damian Priest cashing in. I feel like no one expects that. I feel like no one expects that, but that would really put some hate on him. Because it would just throw him in the middle of CM Punk and McIntyre and Rollins. And I don't really see Priest as a main event guy because I'm not too familiar with any of his stuff besides NXT.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be crazy.
I would agree.
Sad to watch. I'm always sad to watch a cash-in lose.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I hate it.
It's just like, this is his moment. Oh, nope.
Yeah.
So we kind of touched on this already, but Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes for the Universal Championship.
I want it to be Cody. I hope it's Cody.
I'm just, in my mind, it's Roman just so I can be happy for Cody. If he gets it, So in my mind, it's like Roman. That way I don't get my heart broken.
This is the highest point for wrestling fans being behind Cody. But I feel like, again, it's the unpredictability. They could do a million different things. I feel like the only way a lot of people would be happy with him losing would be if MJF came out. I feel like that's the only way I would be happy if Cody Rhodes lost.
Shit.
I don't know how he would feel,
To lose 2 WrestleManias in a row, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Cody win and then MJF come out, or I don't know. I have no idea with the current WWE fan base if they know who he is.
MJF?
Yeah.
I feel like the exposure's there.
Okay.
I feel like it's there. Just because of the out-of-pocket stuff he says. There's compilations of him just like saying the craziest stuff.
Okay. So he shows up WrestleMania, main event, last moment of the night. People are going crazy.
But is he healthy? Can he?
I don't. Again, are we getting worked?
I don't think he's big enough for that. Honestly.
That's what I'm wondering. You got the Rawk out there. You got Bloodline rules.
I didn't think about it like that.
That's a good point, Juggy.
MJ, and he's not big enough to come out and compete and be the last pop of WrestleMania. It's just like
not when you have Raw after WrestleMania.
There's so many storylines from this that is going to happen. I mean, we can sit here and speculate what we think is going to happen. We're all going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Watching it be right.
No, we're all gonna be wrong, bro. Nobody ever guesses what Triple H is gonna. I've never known one person on earth who's ever guessed anything. Remember I don't know who was telling the all the social media guys, the podcast guys, the bloggers, everyone. They're all wrong. They all have great takes. All of us here have great takes. We're all gonna be wrong. We're all going to be wrong.
How do we keep getting surprised?
That's the beauty of it.
I know.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's why Cody's not going to win.
Right.
I feel like that's why wrestling is better than any TV show.
The Monday after Raw is so big that they don't need anybody to come out at the end because it's not going. It wouldn't really like. And MJF, it wouldn't do anything.
This does feel like a WrestleMania to like close some storylines, like big 2-year storylines. Like let's get a definitive decision with Cody?
A
like,
nice
what
round
is
number of
his
40.
story?
I think that
Yeah.
I think that's what this Mania really comes down to is like it's gonna elevate Gunther, it's gonna elevate McIntyre, it's gonna and all these guys like if you look at like WrestleMania last year, it was all the biggest names, and then you look this year and you got guys like DIY who got back together, who people who've been following NXT for a while know about. Then like you got like the Creed brothers on SmackDown. I mean, I feel like they should have won during that match based on their performance.
They did really well, but I mean DIY is that team right now.
And that's what I mean is it's the unpredictability. You could throw the Creed brothers in and that's their shine, and then Breaker. I'm big on Breaker, and I feel like he could main event Mania soon.
But against who? That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe him and McIntyre. Maybe they draw that up.
Yeah,
that would be a fun. Him getting Claymore while he's trying to get his spear. Oh, that'd be nuts. It'd be nuts.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place right now for wrestling, and fellas, I appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you.
Special guests made this special appearance.
Yeah, man.
Wonder you suck. No, I was playing. But Beefy, where can the people catch you at?
Beans and Rice, man. Beans and Rice Pod, Instagram, YouTube, all the other platforms.
With a lot of Z's.
Mike Masters. Yeah.
Do you want to shout out the Mexican community?
No, shout out to the Polynesian community. Shout out to all my brothers out there, man.
No, you got the Vitiligo. What is it?
Oh, baby, that's a Lago. Yeah, we're working on that one. They're still, those are my sons. My son and my daughter were working on stuff. But yeah, shout out to them too. Santos and Young Mary, shout out to them.
All right. Scott?
I battle rap under the name Atheist. I make music under the name Rhyme Time. I shout out the Mexican community every chance I get. Rose Park representative.
In the wrong way, you shut the fuck.
Wait, shout out or shout out? And thank you guys for having me on. I'm now officially excited for WrestleMania in a way I was not before. If you hadn't reached out and said, like, do you want to come and do this, I wouldn't have done all the research and filled in the gaps that I had with the last couple of years. And so I watched Elimination Chamber, I watched last year's WrestleMania, I did all this prep for it, and now I'm like, oh, I'm very excited. I'm back in this now. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Women's Elimination Chamber better than men's.
1,000%. Yeah, by far.
They're outshining the men, man.
Yep.
Io Sky, what was that? When she jumped with the fucking trash can? What, was that Survivor Series?
Oh, off the
War
Games?
Yeah. Fucking incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aidan?
801_Aidan, AIDAN on Instagram. Thank you guys. I love talking about wrestling. I'm always it's the unpredictability.
Most knowledge at this whole table, maybe of us put together.
It's exciting. It's more exciting than any TV show. I feel like
absolutely
every week something new. Unpredictable.
I had to ask you this.
Okay.
Do you I don't know how to word it, but how much does the backstage politics and the dirt sheets and the rumors play into your love of wrestling? Because for me, I would never just watch wrestling without the backstage stuff. And if I had to pick one or the two, for years I've just read dirt sheets and not watched the actual product, all through COVID. But I love knowing that backstage drama and how that plays into storylines. So are you both?
I just learned what a dirt sheet was. I just watched Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
I watched the Brian Pillman episode. I was blown away.
Welcome to the dark side.
if I see something, I'll look at it and think about it logically, but I like to just form my own things. I just like to watch. I like to see people's opinion, and sometimes I like to see how stupid some of the things people have to say are. It's the beauty of the internet.
So pure. I love it.
Aidan, what's your thoughts on Chad Gable? Do you think they messed? Do you think they screwed him?
Yes, a million times. That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
He's really good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
He's a hard worker, man.
Yeah. He's a great athlete.
I feel like he's been stuck behind people his whole career. Just kind of put in tag teams, kind of just make shift.
Yeah.
I think that if he had, timeline shift and he gets signed now, he has a much different trajectory. Yeah. I think Triple H, instead of Vince, I think he could have had a much different run. That guy could have been a WrestleMania main eventer in my main.
I feel like the moment you're put with Otis, your career is kind of at a standstill.
God bless Otis, though.
Yeah.
Shout out Otis.
We saw him at a Utah show, no, it was a UCW show.
Oh,
it was DCW, Devotion Championship Wrestling. He came through, and we were like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like, he was big, he was fast in the ring, like he blew everyone away. And we were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then he signed to WWE like 6 months later. We were like, "That's that guy."
That's pretty cool.
That was the really great one.
Didn't Manny bring a Fatu? Didn't a Fatu wrestle?
Yeah. Was it?
It wasn't Jacob.
It wasn't Jacob.
Zilla.
It was Seam.
It was the younger one.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I can literally picture him.
Yeah.
And then there's the really fat one. I saw him wrestle in Sacramento randomly. I can't remember what that whole family, honestly, so talented.
And shout out my dad. I figured out wrestling myself when I was little, but he bought me an action figure set. It was the Bushwhackers. So that's where
First match I ever saw was a Bushwhackers match.
That's where the love.
Uncle Chris bought you that.
Uncle Chris.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
First match. I was at my grandma's.
When he first started getting into wrestling, I was like, all right, but before you you watch the new stuff, you got to watch the old stuff. So I bought him a couple of DVDs. They were like
War games.
Yeah, War Games, and I think like the best of Saturday Night's Main Event or something like that. So,
Wow.
What a different dad than I had.
This is the cool thing about.
At least you had one. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Shout out to the Mexican community.
I'm still waiting for mine to come home with the milk. You know?
I too, my youngest son, Tavy, he's actually my youngest son.
Shout out Tay. What's up?
My 10-year-old, I started him off watching Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, right? Telling him the story, the controversy. Then it turned into Hell in the Cell, turned into Taker, Mankind, right? And then it turned into, why does he dress like this? And Cactus Jack and Dude Love. And it turned into a snowball effect. So I think as fathers, I think that's kind of like what we do to show our kids. Because I did the same thing with basketball. I showed them Jordan's push off. You know what I mean?
I do have a quick question for Juggy. How does John Cena have a classic rap album? How good was this album?
I mean, not a classic, you know. I mean, there's only a few that are classic, you know. But he had a good album. I mean, mainly the features and the beats, you know, because he had Merce. He had a record with E40, Chingo Bling, and somebody else.
It wasn't bad.
Freddie the Fox.
He had Freddie the Fox.
Yeah.
He had Bumpy Knuckles.
Bumpy
Freddie the
Knuckles.
Fox.
Yeah.
He had some. I mean,
I listen to the album still sometimes. Like he's got
It's
some
not
bangers.
bad.
yeah, no, it's not bad at all.
And he doesn't even talk about it
it's
ever.
not- It's not classic either. You know, they don't want
No,
to talk about it.
but it's
It's the
But
best
it's a good album.
rap album from a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better than Macho Man's. And it's better than...
And John
done a lot of
Cena,
NBA players too.
and John Cena has the best produced entrance song of all time. I don't know if you guys know this, but the legendary producer Jake One.
Jake One,
produced
yeah.
this, yeah. We had him in Freeway out here for a show, and he did like a little set of all the songs that he produced, and then he played that during his set, and everyone was like, "Oh,
It was
I didn't know
Cena's?
Cena.
Yeah. So it was... That
I think
is
he's got
an
a couple
MOP
of the records
sample,
from that
right?
one.
Did MOP get paid for that?
Just the voice,
Right.
Yeah, the voice. The
Yeah.
sample, yeah.
Good for MOP. I always root for those guys. I want to know real
Yes,
quick.
he did get paid for it. They don't the WWE. They don't do royalties. They just do straight
Flat,
payout
yeah.
because their reach, you know, the way they look at it is like, well, you know, like we're bigger than you,
Right.
You know, so like we're gonna pay you for a song you already like made 10 years ago. So that like when you see, this is the pay-per-view song of the whatever, you know, it's normally like a song that's been used, you know,
Yeah.
out. It's already, and they just pay for the rights to use it. And most of the artists, they realize, you know, their music's getting in front of millions of people by being there, so they just take whatever money WWE offers. I mean, it's not kibbles, but you know, it's not. They don't. It's just a one-time check. There's no royalties involved.
I want to go around real quick and name the most famous wrestler we've met. Have you met any in person?
Say my dad. Man.
Jacqueline. I met Jacqueline at a house show.
Loved her.
It was a Raw house show. It was masked up Kane. Her tata fell out during the house show. Yeah.
delightful.
Yeah.
That's
was
so weird. I was like, were we at the same? Because that happened to me, but it was a Raw taping in San Jose.
Really?
And then I was in my brain, I was like, I have the VCR going at home.
I didn't realize that there was house shows and there was the live tapings. And so when I went to this house show, it was great. I remember like this was like 96, 97, something like that. Might have been 98.
I saw her in 98.
And she came out, she wrestled red top, black bottoms, and we actually met, I think it was the day before, and it might have been at like a Circuit City or something. They were doing like a signing thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I met her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Salute to Jacqueline.
Damn, I don't think I met one. Like when you called, like you shook their hand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, I never did. The closest I got to somebody was Batista. It was like a house show. It was with I think he wrestled the Big Show or something like that.
Damn. I went to wrestling school and I was a wrestler when I was like 18, 19. And I wrestled on the same card as Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And
That's what he was asking. I was like, come on.
Well, no, I wanted to know everybody's because I didn't know if you guys, because we didn't talk if you guys had like been to a Mania in person.
No,
or
I
not.
never went to Mania.
I wrestled on the same card as Juventud Guerrera, which was
Shout out
awesome.
to him.
I don't know, a few other guys like that. And then I've just like met some, just in life. But yeah, those were the big ones. I have a picture of like a very depressed Greg the Hammer Valentine, like in the ring. Like, that's the pose. All my friends still do that pose. I have a little Polaroid from like 1998.
So sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. Juventud Guerrera stole our belt. He was like, I'll do the match, but I have to win. And then he just took the belt and left town. And it's like, and it turned out Hoovy had like a whole bag of belts. Like turns out he was like known for it. So I have a picture at home of Hoovy with the belt he won that night. And then we never saw that belt again.
See,
it was awesome.
Legend right there.
Oh, and I have to brag. I always do. I was trained by the same person who trained Bailey. So that's just my claim to fame.
Was that Nightmare Factory or no?
No, it was a guy named Jason Styles in California. It wasn't APW. It was BTW, Big Time Wrestling. And we trained in a fucking airport hangar. And then it was probably, when I trained, it was probably like 5 or 6 years later, he was training Bailey, just totally random. And then she blew up. So that was his big, I think he probably retired after that.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Should we give different answers?
I mean, go ahead and
I would say
even if you pick the same one as me, I have a second story to match that one.
Okay.
So
I will always win. So.
I'll probably say
And boss right here.
I'll probably say house show. A friend of ours exchanged tickets, and we got to sit front row, and this was after the Kofi Mania run. So my little brother and I have a picture of Kofi with the belt, the real belt, or I would say Rollins, Edge, or Jericho.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Well, they do that car show down in Sandy every year, and they always have a wrestler down there. You guys don't know about that?
At
It's
at Rio Tinto?
No, at the Sandy Expo Center. They do like this car, they'll have the Batmobile and like a Ghostbusters car, like a
This
monster
isn't Comic-Con,
truck.
right? They ain't
No,
Phoenix,
it's a car show.
It's a national car show, Auto Expo, that they do, and they just have like random celebrities. Like they'll have like a wrestler, or they'll have like somebody from like random auto, random auto show like car series, or like the guys from American Pickers, or like just like total random pop culture things. But there's always one wrestler there every single year. I can't believe you guys don't know about that.
No, I didn't know. One time Kofi did a signing at a Maverick gas station, and I was gonna get off work early to go, and I realized I couldn't stand in line to meet someone who was my own age.
Yeah.
It was just I was so ready, and then my wife was just like, "So wait, you're going to a gas station to meet a guy? Is this like a legendary guy?" And I was like, no, we're about the same age. I guess I gotta get back to work. I didn't go. I should have went. I regret it now.
So one of the Sandy Expo Center that we went to, one of the times we went, because we saw Edge, Big Show,
Rollins.
Yeah, it's usually one of the wrestlers that's like when they're hurt.
Oh,
you know, they'll and it's only on the weekends.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan.
Wow.
So one of the times it was Jericho, and he came and we waited in line. The kids met, and he and I were just like chopping it up, and I don't know why or how, but he was like, yeah, I'm getting cabin fever. I've been here all week, I've just been in my hotel room. And I was like, well, I'm DJing downtown if you want to come, whatever. I was like, here's my card, give me a shout, whatever. And he's like, oh man, he's like, that sounds like a great idea. He's like, I've been in this hotel room because I flew here from the other show and I've just been here all week, like no friends, no nothing, and all the way down in Sandy, So I was like, all right, cool. Well, just if you want to come out, hit me up. So like 3 hours later, I get a text from a random number, and he's like, hey, this is Jericho. I'm coming out. And I was like, no way.
Damn,
no way. So I'm DJing, and
all nervous now. I can't.
No, I wasn't nervous. I just didn't know it was gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen. So you just like this. He's like, I'm a little bit far from where you are, so I'm waiting for a taxi or someone to come pick me up, whatever. So he's like, all right, I got one. I'm on the way, And so I was like, all right, well, just hit me when you're off the freeway, and I'll have somebody meet you at the door, And so he hits me, and this was when Soundwell used to be Elevate. So I text Chad. I was like, well, he said he's here. So so Chad goes to the front of the club, and sure enough, Jericho popped out of the fucking out of the yellow taxi, and he brought him up on stage, and he was like,
yeah, that's
I was
insane.
like,
hair up, hair down. What's Jericho's vibe? What is he?
Short spike up.
Oh, that Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he came, and they just,
the picture. It was like a few years ago today. I'll pull it up.
That's amazing.
And so he came to the club, and he had some girls around him, and just having drinks and just good times, and he just.
What is this?
left.
09? 8?
Ooh, I have no clue. I'm gonna pull it up right
I'd have to look at my original Instagram post. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, your dad definitely trumped your story, by the way.
No, he definitely.
No, I just thought he was gonna say like he met Jericho, but it was I was like, you could say that because you weren't at the club, so he came to the club after. So
yeah, I can't find it, but it was like
that's cool.
9 years ago this week, something like that.
That's dope.
So pre AEW, like still WWE Jericho. Wow,
that's pretty incredible.
It's awesome.
It was
Mount Rushmore.
It was right before after his match with Fandango at WrestleMania.
R.I.P. to that guy. I forgot about that guy.
That's what it was because my dad made a joke about something about Fandango because Fandango was a joke in our house.
Yeah, I mean
the finger, the song, everything.
Yeah.
Fandango was just like my dad likes to play. He was a glorified jobber. It's the best way
yeah, and glorified's being nice.
He's a jobber for sure.
We were watching. Me and my son. We were watching. It was a Kane. I think it was Kane. Raven. Was it Kane, Raven, and Big Show
at the
hardcore match?
Yeah.
I believe. And we were looking in the signs and stuff, and they had the Austin middle finger, foam fingers. It's like, yeah, they definitely won't do those no more.
No, definitely not.
They're probably worth so much money.
That's what I'm saying. Think about owning one of those right now.
Yeah.
Any old memorabilia.
What?
I had the Hardy Boy foam fingers. You had to hold them so far away from your head. You're like,
I always wanted the choker.
Oh, yeah.
Back when you could get the magazine.
Yep.
It was like the WWE East Bay magazine. You had to order all that shit. Wonder told me about most recently the SmackDown when they came here. LA Knight was at Cricket. Yeah. Because I guess he's the cricket sponsor people.
I was gonna say
like
the phone players. I was like at a cricket match.
No,
like,
he was playing. Come on, Scott.
I was like, damn, I should have seen him. Yeah. Juggy, where can people follow you? Any upcoming Slap Lakes and things like that?
You could just hit me at DJ Juggy on pretty much everything. Slap Lake City, we've got some shows coming up for the spring and summer. We'll be announcing, but some of the other shows coming up. Talib Kweli at Urban Lounge, April 15th. Jizza and Coda the Friend at Sky, April 17th. And Kilby Court Block Party. Wu-Tang's going to be there. They're the only hip-hop group. I mean, there's a lot of other groups, but I just got to, represent for the hip-hop on that.
Are you DJing for them?
For Wu-Tang?
Yeah. I don't.
Don't worry, this episode's gonna release later. You can tell us.
I was like, you know something?
I just know that Jericho calls you.
Jericho got that heavy metal band, doesn't he?
Fozzy.
Yeah. And he does that the cruise now. He does the Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho's cruise.
You could not pay me to get on a cruise of wrestling fans. I love wrestling till like
Somebody's definitely
stuck
getting
with the
suplexed
wrestlers?
off the fucking top.
1000%.
You know, back in the day, it wasn't cool to be a wrestling fan. Do you think that stigma has changed?
I think it's always been cool, man.
No,
I mean, to us, it's been cool, but like,
I still get people like, oh, you still listen to wrestling? Or you still watch wrestling?
I get that too.
It's just like, it's kind of like when somebody tells you, oh, you still got that little podcast you still got going on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy. You're living out your dreams.
I love this shit.
It's just like, you still live. Yes, motherfucker, I still watch wrestling, and all my kids watch wrestling, and I spend money to go to wrestling shows. Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
What's the next question?
I get people where I'll tell them I went to wrestling school and they go, it's fake, right?
Oh.
I was like, I just told you I went to the school. Like,
Your imaginary school, Scott.
Every time somebody says that, I just say, all right, well, let me suplex you onto a fucking table.
Take a bump.
Let me.
And not that kind of bump, guys. Okay, we're talking about wrestling. Okay.
And then that notion of it being, it's predetermined. Okay,
so
cool.
is every
but
movie.
you said it's fake though. You said it's fake. It's not fake. I can slam you through something like they do and show you that it's not fake. It's you'll get real bruises. You know.
I always just go, it's on TV.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird to think that we don't know. And then if I didn't know, you're worse than like spoiling Santa for kids. Like, imagine I found out now.
I know.
Someone comes up to me and just like some like guy at work. It's fake.
Liar.
I'm like, no.
You're a liar.
Let me Google that.
Next time someone tells me it's fake, I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna have to Dudley's put your grandma through a table.
Yeah, facts.
That's what I'm gonna tell them.
Facts.
Shout out Mae Young.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mae Young.
Rest in peace, Mae Young.
Shout out Will Wonder.
Yeah, salute to Will Wonder, man. Couldn't be here, but he produced this whole show, so
Shout
I appreciate
out.
you, my brother.
At least he left this belt for his little tiny waist, I brought my strap. Will, come on, come on, boy. Look at this, bro.
2 times.
Come on.
That must be his son's.
No, this is Will's. This is me right here, man. He's a tiny guy. That's why he couldn't make it.
Make sure you go follow the fellas. We hope you appreciated this. For all our wrestling fans out there, this was for you. And get excited, man. WrestleMania number 40. Y'all have the day you deserve. Protect your light. We out. Peace.
I don't know if that's true, but it might be.
It might be, huh? Yeah. There's been a couple already, huh?
Mexican astronauts?
Yeah.
It sounds weird when you say it, right?
Who do you think is cooking in the space station, okay?
When I think of Mexican astronauts, I don't think like it's a real thing. You know?
What do you mean it's not a real thing, huh? The U.S. didn't go to the moon either, you racist.
What's that? About the first Mexican going to space?
I think it's the first monkey, actually. It's not the first Mexican. It was a Russian monkey that they say on Sputnik 1. That's what it was.
I've never seen a Mexican, not a Mexican,
You never seen a Mexican?
I've never seen a Mexican or a black Russian. You know that combination?
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that.
I think they have, aren't they called Blushins? The black Russians, Scott?
They are.
Yeah.
They're called Blumpkins.
Blumpkins.
And they
Shut the fuck up. Isn't that where you get head on the toilet?
Yeah. It sure is.
What sick fuck would actually do that?
I don't know.
A lot of people, man.
Scott's like, fuck.
Shout out to P. Diddy. Shout out to P. Diddy and Meek Mill.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Called a million miles away.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
What was her name?
What do you
Espinosa?
No, come on, man. Have some respect.
Guadalupe?
Female
Gotta be
astronaut.
Guadalupe.
It's not. Jose. See? I told you.